While Enoch was resting in his bed, sleeping, two extraordinary figures suddenly appeared beside him, greater than any men he had ever encountered on earth. Their faces radiated like the brightness of the sun, and their eyes burned like blazing lamps. From their mouths, fire seemed to emerge, and their garments shimmered with what looked like feathers. Their arms, adorned with golden wings, glowed beside his bedside. They called to him softly, "Enoch, Enoch." Startled, he awoke from his slumber, and they spoke with gentle assurance. "Be of good cheer, Enoch, and do not be afraid. The everlasting God has sent us to you, and today you shall ascend with us into the heavens." They lifted him up, placing him upon their wings, and together they soared above the earth, carried by the clouds. Higher and higher they ascended, past the air, and still further into the realm of the ether until they reached the first heaven. There the Elohim revealed to Enoch the human and divine mysteries, and he also learned about the moment when the angels had fallen. As humanity grew and multiplied in those days, many beautiful daughters were born to them. The angels, the children of heaven, saw these women and were filled with desire. They said to each other, "Let's choose wives from among the daughters of men and have children with them." Semjazar, their leader, hesitated and said, "I'm afraid you won't all follow through with this plan, and I alone will be left to bear the great punishment for this sin." But they all responded, "Let's swear an oath together and bind ourselves to this plan, so no one backs out." So they all swore together, binding themselves with a solemn promise. There were 200 of them in total, and they descended to earth during the days of Jared, landing on the summit of Mount Hermon. They named it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves with an oath there. These are the names of their leaders: Semjazar, their chief, Arakiba, Ramel, Kokabiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakijal, Asael, Armaros, Batarel, Ananel, Zakiel, Samsapeel, Satarel, Turel, Jomjael, and Sariel. These were their captains, each commanding groups of 10. Together with these leaders, the rest of the angels took wives from among the women of earth. Each chose one, and they entered into them, defiling themselves. They taught these women magic spells, charms, root cutting, and introduced them to the knowledge of plants. The women became pregnant and gave birth to enormous giants whose height reached thousands of feet. These giants consumed all of humanity's resources, and when humans could no longer provide for them, the giants turned against humanity and began to devour them. They sinned against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, and even began to eat each other's flesh and drink blood. The earth itself cried out, accusing the lawless ones. Azazel taught humanity how to make swords, knives, shields, and breastplates. He revealed the secrets of metals, how to work with them, and introduced the crafting of bracelets, ornaments, and the use of antimony. He also taught the art of beautifying the eyes, the value of precious stones, and the use of dyes. Wickedness spread like wildfire. People indulged in sin, committed fornication, and became thoroughly corrupt in their ways. Semjazar taught the knowledge of enchantments and root cutting. Armaros taught how to undo spells. Barakijal shared the secrets of astrology. Kokabel taught about constellations. Ezekiel revealed the knowledge of clouds. Arakiel explained the signs of the earth. Shamsiel revealed the signs of the sun. And Sariel taught the course of the moon. As humanity perished under the weight of their corruption, their cries of suffering rose up to heaven. Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven, and what they saw broke their hearts. Blood flowed across the earth, and lawlessness spread like a plague. They turned to each other in despair and said, "The earth, once peaceful and uninhabited, now cries out with the voices of the suffering. Their cries have reached the very gates of heaven, begging for justice. The souls of humanity were pleading to the holy ones in heaven, asking, "Please take our case before the Most High." In anguish, the angel spoke to the Lord, saying, "O Lord of lords, God above all gods, King of kings, your glorious throne has stood for all generations, and your name is holy and blessed forever. You are the creator of everything, and all things are under your control. Nothing can be hidden from you, for you see all. You see what Azazel has done, how he has led the world into darkness, teaching humanity forbidden knowledge, secrets that were meant to stay in heaven. And Semjaza, who was given authority over his followers, has led them to earth. They have taken human women for themselves, defiling them, and through their sin, the women gave birth to giants. Now the earth is soaked in blood and filled with evil. The souls of the dead cry out to heaven, and their sorrowful voices cannot be silenced. They weep for justice, for the terrible wrongs that are being committed on earth. And you, Lord, you know everything before it happens. You see this devastation, but we don't understand why you allow it. You haven't told us what to do." Then the Most High, the Holy and Great One, finally spoke. His voice thundered with authority, and he sent Uriel to the son of Lamech. "Go to Noah," he commanded, "and tell him, 'In my name hide yourself. The end is near. The whole earth is about to be destroyed by a great flood. Everything will be wiped out. Tell him so he may escape and his descendants may survive, to carry on the generations of the world.'" Then the Lord turned to Raphael and said, "Go, find Azazel, bind his hands and feet, cast him into the darkness, into the desert of Dudail. Dig a deep pit and throw him inside. Pile jagged rocks over him. Let him remain there, buried in darkness, so he may never see the light again. He will stay there forever, and on the day of final judgment, he will be thrown into the eternal fire. But now heal the earth, cleanse it from the corruption brought by the angels, announce the healing of the land, so that not all humanity will perish from the secrets the watchers revealed. The whole earth has been ruined by what Azazel taught, so let him bear the weight of all sin." The Lord spoke to Gabriel with a heavy command, "Go forth against the unholy offspring, the rebellious and corrupt. Destroy the children born from sin, the children of the fallen watchers. Set them against each other. Let them battle and wipe each other out, for their days are numbered, and they will not live long." He continued, "And as for their fathers, the watchers, let no plea they make on behalf of their children be heard. They had hoped for eternal life, thinking their offspring might live for 500 years, but their hopes will be shattered." Then the Lord turned to Michael and said, "Bind Semjaza and his companions, those who have tainted themselves by uniting with women and defiling their purity. When they witness their sons killing each other and see the destruction of those they love, bind them tight in the depths of the earth. They will remain there, imprisoned for 70 generations, until the final judgment, until the day of reckoning that will last forever. On that day, they will be thrown into the fiery abyss, into torment and eternal imprisonment, where they shall never be free. Anyone condemned to destruction will be bound with them, sharing their fate for all generations to come. Wipe away the spirits of the corrupt and the children of the watchers, for they have wronged humanity. Let all wickedness be cleansed from the face of the earth, and let righteousness and truth take root. Let it be a blessing, a new beginning, where justice and joy will grow forever." The Lord promised, "The righteous will survive, they will thrive, and live long enough to have thousands of descendants. They will live in peace, from their youth to their old age, without fear or sorrow. The earth will be tended with righteousness, flourishing with trees and overflowing with blessings. The most desirable trees will cover the land, vines will yield an abundance of wine, and the seeds sown in the ground will bear 1,000-fold. Even a small measure of olives will produce 10 presses of oil. Cleanse the earth from all oppression, from every form of evil, sin, and godlessness. Wipe away the filth that has tainted it. Then all the children of humanity will become righteous. Every nation will adore and praise me, and all will worship. The earth will be purified from all defilement, sin, punishment, and torment. Never again will I send such suffering upon it, from generation to generation, forevermore. In those days, I will open the heavenly storehouses of blessings and rain them down upon the earth, rewarding the work and toil of humanity. Truth and peace will walk hand in hand, lasting throughout all the days of the world and across every generation of humankind. Before these events, Enoch had disappeared, hidden away from humanity. No one knew where he had gone or what had become of him. Enoch's life was intertwined with the Watchers, and he spent his days among the holy ones. I, Enoch, blessed the Lord of Majesty, the King of all ages. And then the Watchers summoned me, Enoch, the scribe. They called to me and said, Enoch, you scribe of righteousness, go and deliver this message to the Watchers of heaven, those who abandoned their holy and eternal dwelling, who defiled themselves by uniting with women and behaved like the children of earth. You have brought great destruction to the world. You will have no peace, no forgiveness for your sins. Though you cherish your children, you will witness their violent deaths. You will cry out and lament over their destruction for all eternity, but peace and mercy will never be yours. Enoch went to Azazel, the fallen one, and with a voice firm and resolute, he said, Azazel, you will know no peace. A harsh and unyielding sentence has already been passed against you, and you will be bound by it for eternity. You will find no mercy, no request will be granted to you. All this is because of the wickedness you have taught mankind, the ungodly ways and sinful acts you revealed to them. Enoch then gathered all the fallen Watchers and spoke to them together. A deep fear took hold of them, and they trembled, gripped by terror. Desperate, they pleaded with Enoch, asking him to write a petition for them, to beg for forgiveness on their behalf. They hoped he could read their plea in the presence of the Lord of heaven, for they could no longer lift their faces to the heavens in shame, unable to speak to him after being condemned for their sins. Their guilt weighed down on them like chains. So Enoch did as they asked. He wrote their plea for forgiveness, carefully recording each of their spirit's desires and their deeds, asking for mercy and the extension of their days. Afterward, Enoch went to the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south and west of Mount Hermon. There, by the water's edge, he read their petition, pouring out their sorrow, until exhaustion overcame him and he fell asleep. And as he slept, visions came crashing down upon him, vivid and filled with judgment. A voice echoed in his dream, commanding him to bring this message to the sons of heaven and rebuke them for their actions. When Enoch awoke, he returned to the Watchers. They were gathered together, weeping in a place called Abel-Jail, between the mountains of Lebanon and Senezer, their faces hidden in grief and despair. With solemn authority, Enoch recounted to them all the visions he had seen while he slept, and there, among their tears, he began to speak words of righteousness, rebuking the fallen Watchers for their transgressions. This is the book of righteousness, containing the words of reprimand to the eternal Watchers, as commanded by the Holy Great One through the vision he revealed to me. In the midst of my sleep, I saw these things, and I now speak them aloud with my human tongue, using the breath given by the Great One to mankind, to communicate and to understand in our hearts. Just as he gave man the power to comprehend wisdom, so too has he given me the power to rebuke the Watchers, the once holy children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision I saw the truth. Your request will not be granted, not now, not ever. Judgment has been passed upon you for all eternity. From this moment on, You shall never ascend to heaven again. You will remain bound to the earth, confined in its depths, for all the days of the world's existence. Before this, you will witness the destruction of your beloved sons. You will have no joy in them. They will perish before your eyes, cut down by the sword. Even if you weep, even if you pray and utter all the words I have written, your pleas for their forgiveness and your own will not be heard. And then, in my vision, I was taken by clouds that beckoned me, and a mist surrounded me. The stars and lightning sped me forward, and the winds lifted me, carrying me into the heavens. As I was borne upward, I neared a towering wall made of pure crystal, surrounded by tongues of fire. Fear gripped me. I entered through the fiery tongues and saw before me a grand house made entirely of crystal, with walls shimmering like the tessellated floor beneath my feet, also of crystal. The foundation, too, gleamed with the same brilliance. The ceiling resembled the starry sky streaked with lightning, and between the lightning, I saw fiery cherubim. The heaven above was as clear as water. Flames blazed around the house, and its doors were consumed with fire. As I stepped inside, I was overwhelmed. It was as hot as fire, but as cold as ice. There was no joy in this place, only dread. Fear took hold of me, and my whole body trembled. Trembling uncontrollably, I collapsed, face down on the ground. Then, as I lay prostrate, I saw another house, even greater than the first. Its enormous gate stood open, and it was built from flames of fire. Its splendor and magnificence were beyond words, far surpassing anything I could ever describe. The floor of this house was a river of fire, and above it were the stars and lightning. The ceiling, too, blazed with flames. There, at the heart of it all, I saw a throne, towering and majestic. It gleamed like crystal, and its wheels shone like the burning sun, surrounded by cherubim. Streams of fire poured from beneath the throne, so fierce I could not bear to look directly at it. Upon that throne sat the great Glory. His robe was brighter than the sun, purer than the whitest snow. Not even the angels could enter or behold his face, so great was his majesty and splendor. No mortal could bear to gaze upon him. Flames encircled him, and a vast fire burned before him. No one dared approach him. Yet before him stood 10,000 times 10,000, though he required no counsel. The holiest one stood by him, never leaving his side, neither by day nor night. Still trembling, I lay with my face to the ground, unable to move. Then the Lord called to me with his own voice, saying, "Come, Enoch, and listen to my words." One of the holy ones came to me, awakening me gently. He lifted me up, guiding me towards the entrance. With my face bowed low, I obeyed. And he answered me, his voice strong and full of power. "Do not be afraid, Enoch, righteous man and faithful scribe of truth. Come closer and hear my words. Go and tell the watchers of heaven, who have sent you to plead for them. It is not men who should plead for you, but you who should have interceded for men. Why did you abandon the high, holy, and eternal heaven? Why did you lay with woman, defiling yourselves with the daughters of men, taking them as wives, and giving birth to giants, your corrupted sons? Though you were once pure spiritual beings who lived eternal lives, you stained yourselves with the blood of women and produced children of flesh. You craved the desires of mortal flesh and blood, like those who die and fade away. I gave men wives so they could bear children and ensure nothing was lacking on the earth. But you were not like them. You were once spiritual, living eternally, never destined for death. And thus, I did not give you wives. For the spiritual dwell in heaven, not on earth. But now the giants, your offspring born of spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits on the earth, and here shall be their cursed home. From their bodies, evil spirits have come forth. Their origin lies with you, the fallen watchers. These evil spirits will dwell among men, bringing havoc upon the earth. These spirits will be called evil because they come from both human and heavenly flesh. They belong to neither, yet they shall torment both. The spirits of the heavenly beings remain in heaven, but the spirits born from the earth, from your sin, shall remain bound to it forever. These spirits of the giants shall bring suffering. They afflict, oppress, destroy, and make war. They do not need food, but are ever hungry and thirsty. Their endless cravings cause misery, and they will rise up against men and women, for they are born of both. Since the days when the giants were slain, their spirits have wandered the earth, destructive, rebellious, and relentless. They shall continue to torment until the day of the final judgment, when all will be brought to an end, both for the watchers and the godless alike. It is on that day that the age will be fully completed. Now, regarding the watchers who sent you to intercede on their behalf, tell them this. Yes, you once dwelled in heaven, but not all the mysteries were revealed to you. Instead, you grasped at knowledge. In the hardness of your hearts, you made these hidden things known to women. Through this, men and women alike now commit great evil on the earth. Therefore, tell them, you shall find no peace, neither in heaven nor on earth. Enoch was taken to a place where those who dwelled there blazed like flames of fire. But when they wished, they could appear as men. Enoch was brought to a vast mountain, whose summit stretched up to the very heavens. He saw the places where the stars and lights of the sky are kept, and the deepest depths where thunder, lightning, and fiery weapons, arrows and a flaming sword, are stored. He was led to living waters and to the blazing fire in the west, where the sun sets each evening. Enoch came to a river of fire, its flames flowing like water, pouring into the great western sea. He saw the great rivers of the world and journeyed into the darkness to a place where no living creature can walk. He beheld the mountains covered in winter's shadow and the source from which the waters of the deep flow. He saw the mouths of every river and the entrance to the vast depths below. Enoch saw the storerooms of all the winds and observed how they were arranged to shape creation and lay the strong foundation of the earth. He saw the cornerstone of the earth and the four winds that uphold both the earth and the sky. He watched how the winds spread out the skies, standing between heaven and earth like the pillars that support the heavens. He saw the heavenly winds that turn the sun and guide the stars in their paths. He saw the winds on earth, carrying the clouds and the pathways of angels. At the edge of the earth, he saw the sky above. He went further and saw a place burning day and night, with 7 magnificent mountains, 3 to the east and 3 to the south. The eastern mountains were made of colorful stone, pearl, and jacinth, while the southern mountains were of red stone. The central mountain rose high into the heavens like God's throne, made of pure alabaster with a sapphire summit. Flames burned before him, and beyond these mountains lay the end of the earth. He saw where the heavens were completed. There was a deep abyss, filled with columns of heavenly fire, stretching beyond what he could measure in both height and depth. Beyond that abyss he saw a place with no sky above and no solid ground below, an empty, desolate wasteland. There, he saw 7 stars burning like great mountains and asked about them. The angel told him, "This is the end of heaven and earth. This is the prison of the stars and the heavenly beings. These stars, which roll over the fire, are those who disobeyed the Lord's command. They failed to rise when they were supposed to. Because of their disobedience, he became angry with them and bound them here until the time when their guilt will be fully judged, even for 10,000 years. Uriel said to Enoch, "Here will stand the angels who defiled themselves by taking human women. Their spirits now take many forms, leading mankind astray and causing them to worship demons as gods. Here they shall remain until the great day of judgment, when they will finally be destroyed. The women who are led astray by these angels will become sirens, calling men to their doom. And Enoch alone saw this vision, the end of all things. No other man shall witness what he has seen. Enoch continued his journey with the holy angels, who revealed the mysteries of the universe to him. He was introduced to the celestial guardians who oversee humanity. These are the names of the holy angels, Enoch began. Uriel, who oversees the world and the depths of Tartarus. Raphael, who watches over the spirits of men. Raguel, who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. Michael, who is set over the best part of humanity and over chaos. Sarakiel, who is set over the spirits of those who sin in spirit. Gabriel, who watches over paradise, the serpents and the cherubim. Remiel, whom God has set over those who rise from the dead. Enoch was then taken to a place where all was chaos. He saw something terrifying. There was neither heaven above nor a firmly founded earth below, only a place of total disorder and horror. In that place, he saw 7 stars bound together in this chaotic space, burning like giant mountains of fire. Enoch asked, "For what sin are these stars bound? Why have they been cast here?" Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with him and was chief over them, replied, "Enoch, why do you ask? Why are you so eager to know the truth? These stars are among those that transgressed the commandment of the Lord. They are bound here until the 10,000 years of their sin have been fulfilled." Enoch was then taken to another place, even more dreadful than the first. There, he saw an immense fire that blazed and burned, cleaving down to the abyss, filled with enormous columns of fire. Its vastness was beyond his understanding. He said, "How terrifying this place is, how awful it is to look upon." Uriel, the holy angel, responded, "Enoch, why are you so frightened?" Enoch replied, "Because of this fearful place and the sight of such intense pain." Uriel said to him, "This is the prison of the angels, where they will be held forever." Enoch was then taken to another place, and Uriel showed him a great and high mountain in the west, made of solid rock. Inside it were 4 hollow places, deep, wide, and incredibly smooth. They were dark and frightening to behold. Raphael, one of the holy angels who was with him, explained, "These hollow places have been created for the spirits of the dead, so that all the souls of the children of men may gather here. These places will hold them until the day of their judgment, when the appointed time for them will come." Enoch saw the spirits of the children of men who had died, and their voices rose up to heaven, pleading for justice. He asked Raphael, "Whose spirit is this that cries out so desperately?" Raphael answered, "This is the spirit of Abel, whom his brother Cain murdered. His voice cries out for vengeance until Cain's descendants are destroyed from the face of the earth." Enoch then asked about the different hollow places. "Why are they separated?" Raphael responded, "These 3 divisions have been made to separate the spirits of the righteous from the sinners. In one of these places, there is a bright spring of water for the righteous. Another has been set aside for sinners who died without facing judgment during their lifetime. Here, their spirits will be held in great pain until the day of judgment, when they will face their punishment and torment. There, they will be bound forever, and their spirits will know no peace. A 3rd division has been made for those who cry out for vengeance, whose lives were cut short by the wicked. And another is for the spirits of men who were sinners, wholly corrupt in their transgressions. They shall remain together in torment, but they will not be destroyed on the day of judgment, nor will they ever rise again." Enoch then blessed the Lord of glory and said, "Blessed be the Lord of righteousness, who rules forever." He then journeyed to a place west of the ends of the earth. There, he beheld an unending blaze that never ceased its fiery path, day or night, continuing its relentless course without a moment's rest. Curious, he asked, "What is this relentless fire?" Raguel, one of the holy angels accompanying him, responded, "This is the western fire you see, which relentlessly pursues all the celestial lights of heaven." Enoch traveled further to another location on the earth and was shown a range of fiery mountains that burned ceaselessly, both day and night. Moving past this, he saw 7 grand mountains, each unique and splendid. 3 rose majestically in the east, 1 above the other, and 3 in the south, similarly stacked, with rugged, separate ravines between them. The 7th mountain stood in their midst, towering above the others like a throne, surrounded by aromatic trees. Among these trees was one unlike any Enoch had ever encountered. Its fragrance was unmatched, and its leaves, blooms, and wood never withered. Its fruit was as beautiful as palm dates. Enoch admired the tree's beauty and its delightful fragrance, noting the loveliness of its leaves and blossoms. Michael, the revered leader of the holy angels, responded to Enoch's wonder. Michael asked Enoch, "Why are you so curious about the tree's fragrance, and why do you seek the truth about it?" Enoch replied, "I wish to understand everything, particularly about this extraordinary tree." Michael explained, "This towering mountain you see, with its summit resembling God's throne, is indeed his throne. The Holy Great One, the Lord of Glory, the Eternal King, will one day descend to earth to visit in kindness. Until the great judgment comes, no mortal is allowed to touch this fragrant tree. At that time, when divine justice is meted out and all is brought to its final state, the tree will be given to the righteous and holy. Its fruit will nourish the chosen ones, and the tree will be transplanted to the sacred place, the Lord's eternal temple. Then they will experience joy and happiness and enter the holy place. Its fragrance will enrich their being, and they will live long, fulfilling lives, free from sorrow, disease, torment, or disaster, just as their ancestors did." Enoch then praised the God of glory, the eternal King, who had prepared such blessings for the righteous and promised to bestow them. Enoch traveled to the heart of the earth and discovered a blessed place with ever-blooming trees. There he saw a sacred mountain with a stream flowing eastward towards the south. To the east he noticed another mountain, taller than the first, separated by a deep, narrow ravine with a stream running beneath it. To the west, a lower mountain was situated, separated by a dry, deep ravine, with another similar ravine at the ends of the 3 mountains. All these ravines were narrow and deep, carved from solid rock, and devoid of trees. Enoch marveled at the rocks and the ravines, astonished by their formidable appearance. He wondered aloud, "What is the purpose of this blessed land, filled with trees, and the cursed valley in between?" Uriel explained, "This cursed valley is reserved for those eternally condemned. It is the gathering place for those who have spoken blasphemies against the Lord and his glory. Here the accursed will face their judgment. In the end times, the righteous will witness this scene of divine judgment, and the merciful will bless the Lord of glory, the eternal King. On the day of judgment, they will praise him for his mercy, which determined their fate." Enoch then praised the Lord of glory, celebrating his divine majesty and grace. Enoch journeyed east into the heart of a mountainous desert and discovered a desolate wilderness teeming with trees and plants. Water flowed abundantly from above, rushing northwest and creating clouds and dew that spread in all directions. Continuing east, Enoch arrived at another desert location. There, he saw aromatic trees emitting the sweet scents of frankincense and myrrh, similar to almond trees. Further east, Enoch came upon a valley filled with water. In this valley stood a tree with a fragrance akin to mastic. Along the valley sides, he saw fragrant cinnamon trees and moved on further east. Enoch discovered new mountains, where he found groves of trees producing nectar known as sarara and galbanum. Beyond these mountains, he saw another range to the east, covered with aloe trees, which were filled with stacte and resembled almond trees. When burned, the aroma of these trees surpassed any other fragrance. Looking north over the mountains, Enoch saw 7 peaks abundant with precious nard, fragrant trees, cinnamon, and pepper. He traversed the peaks of these mountains, journeyed east past the Erythraean Sea, and continued far beyond, passing over the angel Zotiel. He reached the Garden of Righteousness and observed many large, beautifully fragrant trees, including the Tree of Wisdom, which grants profound knowledge to those who partake. This tree was as tall as a fir, with leaves like those of the carob tree and fruit resembling vine clusters, exuding a far-reaching fragrance. Enoch marveled at the tree's beauty and allure. Raphael, the holy angel with him, explained, "This is the tree of wisdom. Your aged father and mother before you ate from it and gained wisdom. Their eyes were opened and they realized their nakedness, leading to their expulsion from the garden." Enoch traveled to the farthest reaches of the earth and encountered a variety of majestic beasts, each unique in form. He also observed birds, each distinct in appearance, beauty, and song. To the east of these creatures, he saw where the heavens touch the earth and the portals of the heavens open wide. He witnessed how the stars emerge from these portals, counting and recording each star's exit, noting their names, paths, positions, timings, and months, as shown to him by Uriel, the holy angel accompanying him. Uriel revealed and documented everything for Enoch, including the stars' names, their laws, and their groupings. Enoch then journeyed north to the edge of the earth, where he saw a magnificent sight at the very ends of the world. He observed 3 portals in the sky, through which northern winds emerge, bringing cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. When the winds blow from one of these portals, they are gentle and beneficial. However, when the other 2 portals release their winds, they come with harshness and suffering, creating tumultuous conditions on earth. Moving west to the far reaches of the earth, Enoch saw 3 more heavenly portals, identical to those he had seen in the east, with the same number of openings. Enoch traveled south to the extremities of the earth and found 3 open heavenly portals there, from which dew, rain, and wind emerge. Returning to the east, he saw 3 eastern portals of heaven open, along with smaller portals above them. Through these smaller portals, the stars traverse their paths westward, following their designated routes. Each time Enoch observed these wonders, he praised the Lord of glory, celebrating his magnificent creations and the greatness of his work. He blessed the Lord for demonstrating his power to angels, spirits, and humanity, so that all might admire and honor his mighty deeds and eternal craftsmanship. Enoch spoke his words of blessing to the elect and righteous, those who will endure the trials of the final days, when the wicked and godless will be removed. He saw a vision of the Holy One in the heavens, revealed to him by the angels. From them, he heard and understood everything he saw. But this message is meant not for his generation, but for a future one yet to come. Regarding the elect, Enoch prophesied, "The Holy Great One will emerge from his dwelling, and the eternal God will set foot upon the earth on Mount Sinai. He will appear from his divine encampment and reveal his mighty strength from the highest heaven. All will be struck with terror. The watchers will tremble, and a profound fear will grip the earth. The lofty mountains will shake, the high hills will be flattened, and they will melt like wax before a fire. The earth will be torn apart, and all upon it will perish, with a final judgment on all humanity." Yet he will grant peace to the righteous, protect the elect, and show them mercy. They will belong to God, be prospered and blessed. He will support them, shine light upon them, and make peace with them. Behold, he will come with thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, to destroy the ungodly, to convict all flesh of the wicked deeds they have committed, and all the harsh words spoken against him. Observe everything that happens in the heavens, how the celestial bodies maintain their orbits, and how each luminary rises and sets precisely according to its season, never deviating from its appointed path. Look at the earth and pay attention to its consistent patterns from beginning to end. Nothing changes. All the works of God are evident. Notice how summer and winter fill the earth with water, clouds, dew, and rain. In winter, observe how trees seem to wither and shed their leaves, except for 14 trees that retain their foliage for 2 to 3 years until new leaves come. During summer, observe how the sun remains directly overhead, causing intense heat. You seek shade from its scorching rays, and the earth becomes too hot to walk on. Watch how trees become green and bear fruit. Understand and recognize the works of God, who has made everything so. All his creations function the same year after year, performing their tasks as he has decreed, and their roles remain unchanged. Similarly, the sea and rivers follow their divine commands without altering their functions. But you have not been steadfast, nor have you followed the Lord's commandments. You have turned away and spoken harsh, prideful words against his greatness. Therefore your days will be cursed, and the years of your life will be consumed, with eternal damnation and no mercy for you. In those days, your names will become an eternal curse among the righteous, and those who curse will do so in your name, the sinners, and godless will invoke curses because of you. For you, the ungodly, there will be a curse. The righteous will rejoice, finding forgiveness, mercy, peace, and salvation. They will receive a bright light. But sinners will find no salvation, only a curse will be upon them. For the elect, there will be light, joy, and peace, and they will inherit the earth. Wisdom will be granted to the elect. They will live without sinning again, free from ungodliness and pride. Those who are wise will be humble. They will never transgress again. They will not face divine anger or wrath. Their days will be fulfilled in peace. Their lives will be filled with eternal joy and peace throughout all their days. Enoch, the son of Jared, grandson of Mahalalel, and descendant of Adam, shared the second vision he received, a vision of wisdom. This vision marked the beginning of Enoch's prophetic words, which he shared with the people of the earth. Listen, all you who have lived before, and those who will come after, to the messages of the Holy One spoken before the Lord of Spirits. Though it might seem fitting to reveal these truths solely to the ancients, this wisdom could not be kept from those living now or from future generations. Until this moment, such insight had never been bestowed upon anyone by the Lord of Spirits, who granted Enoch the gift of eternal life. Enoch had received 3 great parables, which he now imparted to the people on earth. A time will come when the righteous will be gathered together, and the sinners will face judgment for their deeds. They will be expelled from the earth. When the righteous one, whose actions are perfectly aligned with the Lord of Spirits, reveals himself to the righteous, a brilliant light will shine upon those chosen by God. But where will the sinners hide? Where will those who denied the Lord find rest? It would have been better for them if they had never been born. When the secrets of the righteous are unveiled and the wicked are judged, the powerful and exalted of the earth will lose their status. They will be unable to stand before the holy, for the Lord of Spirits will illuminate the faces of the righteous and the elect. The mighty rulers will perish and be handed over to the righteous and holy. From that point on, they will no longer be able to seek mercy from the Lord of Spirits, for their lives will have ended. In those days, holy and chosen children will descend from the heavens and unite with the children of men. Enoch received sacred writings filled with fervor, judgment, and sorrow. Yet no mercy will be granted to the wicked, declares the Lord of Spirits. One day, a whirlwind carried Enoch away from the earth and placed him at the edge of the heavens. There, he witnessed the abodes of the holy and the resting places of the righteous. He saw how they prayed and interceded for humankind, with righteousness flowing like an endless river and mercy descending like gentle dew upon the earth. This state of righteousness and mercy will endure forever. In that sacred place, Enoch saw the chosen one, the embodiment of righteousness and faith, whose dwelling was under the protection of the Lord of Spirits. His reign would be marked by justice, and the number of the righteous who stood before him would be countless, lasting forever. These righteous ones would shine like blazing lights, their mouths filled with blessings and their lips ever praising the name of the Lord of Spirits. Righteousness would never fade from their presence. Enoch yearned to dwell in this place, his spirit longing for this divine realm. It had always been his destined portion, established by the Lord of Spirits. During that time, Enoch praised and exalted the name of the Lord of Spirits, recognizing his own blessing and glory as a result of divine will. For a long time, Enoch's eyes were fixed on that holy place, and he blessed and praised God, declaring, "Blessed is he, and may he be blessed from the very beginning until the end of time. There is no end before him, for he knows all things from before creation and throughout every generation." The eternal beings who never sleep stood before his glory and continually sang his praises. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of Spirits, who fills the earth with spirits. Enoch saw these ageless beings always awake, always blessing, and saying, "Blessed be thou, and blessed be the name of the Lord forever and ever." As Enoch beheld this vision, his face changed, overwhelmed by its radiance, and he could no longer endure the sight. After this, Enoch saw an innumerable multitude, thousands upon thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, standing before the Lord of Spirits. Surrounding the Lord on all four sides were four distinct presences, different from the eternal beings Enoch had seen before. An angel who accompanied him revealed their names and showed him all the hidden truths. The voices of these four presences rang out in praise before the Lord of Glory. The first voice praised the Lord of Spirits eternally. The second voice blessed the elect one and the chosen ones who rely on the Lord of Spirits. The third voice prayed and interceded for the people on earth, pleading in the name of the Lord of Spirits. The fourth voice stood firm against the Satans, preventing them from accusing the people of the earth before the Lord of Spirits. Enoch then asked the angel of peace, who had shown him all these hidden things, "Who are these four presences whose words I have heard and recorded?" The angel responded, "The first is Michael, the compassionate and patient one. The second is Raphael, who oversees all diseases and wounds of humanity. The third is Gabriel, who is in charge of all the powers. The fourth is Phanuel, who oversees the repentance and hope of those who will inherit eternal life. These are the four angels of the Lord of Spirits, and the voices you heard in those days." Next, Enoch saw all the secrets of the heavens, how the kingdom is organized, and how the actions of people are measured. He observed the homes of the elect and the holy, and witnessed sinners being expelled from these sacred places for denying the name of the Lord of Spirits. They were dragged away, unable to remain due to the punishment that came from the Lord of Spirits. Enoch also saw the secrets of lightning and thunder, the division of the winds as they blow across the earth, and the mysteries of clouds and dew. He observed their origins and how they saturate the dry earth. He saw the chambers where the winds are divided, including the chambers of hail, mist, and clouds, which have hovered over the earth since the world began. He witnessed the chambers of the sun and moon, observing their paths and their glorious returns. He saw how one is superior to the other and their majestic orbits, noting that they never stray from their paths. They neither add to nor subtract from their courses, and remain faithful to their celestial oath. The sun follows its path according to the command of the Lord of Spirits, whose name is mighty forever. Enoch also saw the hidden and visible paths of the moon, which completes its course day and night. Both sun and moon, positioned opposite each other before the Lord of Spirits, give thanks and praise without rest. Their very existence is a testament to their thanksgiving. The sun brings either blessing or curse, while the moon's path brings light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners, as decreed by the Lord, who separated light from darkness. He divides the spirits of men, strengthens the spirits of the righteous, and judges all with his righteousness. No angel or power can hinder this divine order. All are judged before him. Wisdom, initially unable to find a dwelling place, was eventually given a home in the heavens. When wisdom sought to reside among humanity, she found no suitable place and returned to her celestial realm, taking her seat among the angels. Meanwhile, unrighteousness emerged from her chambers, seeking but failing to find a place among the righteous. Instead, unrighteousness settled among those who were lost, like rain in a desert or dew on parched land. Enoch witnessed an awe-inspiring sight, countless flashes of lightning and stars of the heavens, all called by their names, responding to the Lord of Spirits. He observed how these celestial bodies were weighed in a just balance according to their light, and how their distances, appearances, and revolutions were meticulously measured. Their movements, synchronized with the number of angels, demonstrated their faithful coordination. Curious about these celestial phenomena, Enoch inquired of the angel who accompanied him, "What are these?" The angel replied, "The Lord of Spirits has shown you their symbolic meaning. These are the names of the holy ones who dwell on earth and remain steadfast in their faith in the Lord of Spirits forever." Enoch saw another remarkable sight concerning the lightning. Some stars transformed into lightning and remained in this new form permanently, unable to return to their original state. Enoch began recounting the second parable, addressing those who reject the sacred dwelling places of the holy ones and the Lord of Spirits. Such individuals will never ascend to heaven, nor find peace on earth. This is their fate. Those who have denied the name of the Lord of Spirits are reserved for a day of great suffering and tribulation. On that day, the elect one will sit upon the throne of glory and judge their deeds. Their resting places will be countless, and their souls will find strength as they witness the elect ones and those who have called upon the glorious name of the Lord. Then the elect one will dwell among them. The heavens will be transformed into a realm of eternal blessing and light, and the earth will be made a place of blessing. The elect ones will inhabit it, while sinners and wrongdoers will be barred from entering. The righteous will be given peace and will dwell in the presence of the Lord, but for the sinners, judgment awaits. They will be eradicated from the earth. In Enoch's vision, he saw a figure with a head of days, whose hair was white as wool. Accompanying this figure was another being with a countenance like that of a man, radiating grace akin to the holy angels. Enoch asked the angel who guided him about this Son of Man, who he was, where he came from, and why he accompanied the head of days. The angel explained, "This is the Son of Man who embodies righteousness. He possesses righteousness, reveals hidden treasures, and has been chosen by the Lord of Spirits. His place of honor before the Lord of Spirits is eternal and upright. This Son of Man will topple kings and mighty rulers from their thrones, shatter the power of the strong, and destroy the wicked. Those who fail to praise and acknowledge the origin of their power will be cast down. Their faces will be filled with shame, and they will dwell in darkness and decay, with no hope of redemption, because they did not honor the name of the Lord of Spirits. These are the ones who judge the stars of heaven, rebel against the Most High, and tread upon the earth with their unrighteous deeds. Their power is based on their wealth, their faith rests in the gods they have made with their own hands, and they deny the name of the Lord of spirits. They also persecute the congregations and faithful who rely on the Lord's name. In those days the prayers of the righteous and the cries of the innocent blood shed upon the earth will rise before the Lord of spirits. The holy ones dwelling in the heavens will unite their voices in a powerful chorus of supplication, prayer, praise, and gratitude, seeking that the blood of the righteous and their prayers not be in vain. They will plead for justice to be done and for the righteous to be spared from eternal suffering. Enoch saw the head of days take his place on the throne of glory, where the books of the living were opened before him. All the heavenly host and his counselors stood in his presence. The hearts of the holy were filled with joy, because the number of the righteous had been fulfilled, their prayers heard, and their blood accounted for before the Lord of spirits. In that vision, Enoch beheld an endless fountain of righteousness, surrounded by many fountains of wisdom. All who thirsted came to drink from these fountains and were filled with wisdom. They found their homes among the righteous, holy, and elect. At that moment, the Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of spirits and before the head of days. Even before the sun and the celestial signs were created, and before the stars of heaven were formed, his name was established before the Lord of spirits. He will serve as a support for the righteous, guiding them to stand firm and not fall. He will be a beacon of light for the Gentiles and a source of hope for the troubled. All who dwell on earth will bow before him, praising and blessing the Lord of spirits. This Son of Man has been chosen and concealed before the creation of the world and will remain so forever. The wisdom of the Lord of spirits has revealed him to the holy and righteous, as he has preserved their lot. They have scorned this world of unrighteousness and its ways in the name of the Lord of spirits. Through his name, they are saved, according to the divine will for their lives. Wisdom will flow like water, and his glory will never fade. He is mighty in all the secrets of righteousness, and unrighteousness will vanish like a shadow without lasting power. The elect one stands eternally before the Lord of spirits, his glory everlasting, and his strength enduring through all generations. In him resides the spirit of wisdom, insight, understanding, and strength, as well as the spirit of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. He will judge the hidden matters, and no lie will be spoken before him, for he is the elect one before the Lord of spirits, chosen by divine will. In those days, a transformation will occur for the holy and elect. The light of days will shine upon them, and glory and honor will be theirs on the day when evil has been amassed against the sinners. The righteous will triumph in the name of the Lord of spirits, and others will witness this, leading them to repentance and renouncement of their sinful deeds. Although these others will not gain honor through the name of the Lord of spirits, they will be saved through his name. The Lord of spirits will show them great compassion, for his compassion knows no bounds. His judgment will be just, and in his glorious presence, unrighteousness will not endure. The unrepentant will perish before him. From this point forward, the Lord of spirits declares, he will show no mercy to them. In those days, the earth will return everything it has been given, Sheol will release all it has taken, and hell will pay back what it owes. For during that time, the elect one will rise up, and he will choose the righteous and holy from among them. The moment of their salvation is at hand. The elect one will then take his seat on the throne of the Lord of spirits, and his words will reveal all the deep secrets of wisdom and guidance. For the Lord of spirits has granted him these truths and has exalted him. In those days, even the mountains will dance with joy like rams, and the hills will leap like lambs basking in milk. the faces of all the heavenly angels will shine with uncontainable joy. The earth will burst into rejoicing, and the righteous will find their home upon it, while the chosen ones will walk freely upon its surface. After those days, in the place where the visions of hidden things had been seen, after being swept away in a whirlwind towards the west, there were revealed the secret treasures of heaven, a mountain of iron, a mountain of copper, a mountain of silver, a mountain of gold, a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. Enoch asked the angel accompanying him, "What are these things I have seen in secret?" The angel answered, "These things you have seen are destined to serve the reign of his anointed, so that he may wield great power and might upon the earth." The angel of peace then said, "Wait a moment, and you will be shown all the hidden things that surround the Lord of Spirits. The mountains seen, the iron mountain, the copper mountain, the silver mountain, the gold mountain, the soft metal mountain, and the lead mountain will become as fragile as wax before, a fire and as malleable as water pouring down. They will lose all their strength in the presence of the elect one. It will come to pass in those days that no one will find salvation through gold or silver, and none will escape. All will be powerless. There will be no iron for battle, no armor to protect. Bronze will be useless, tin will be worthless, and lead will be rejected. All these things will vanish and be destroyed from the earth's surface when the elect one appears before the Lord of Spirits. A deep, gaping valley was seen where all who live on earth, sea, and islands would bring gifts, tributes, and tokens of homage, yet this valley would never be filled. Their hands are stained with lawless deeds, and sinners consume and oppress everyone they wrongfully dominate. Yet they will face destruction before the Lord of Spirits, be banished from his earth, and perish forever. All the angels of punishment were seen there, preparing the tools of Satan. Enoch asked the angel of peace who accompanied him, "For whom are these instruments being prepared?" The angel replied, "These are prepared for the kings and mighty ones of the earth, so they may be utterly destroyed. Afterward, the righteous and elect one will reveal the house of his congregation, and they will no longer be hindered in the name of the Lord of Spirits. The mountains will no longer stand firm before his righteousness, but the hills will flow like fountains of water, and the righteous will find rest from the torment of sinners." Enoch looked and turned to another part of the earth, where he saw a vast valley engulfed in burning fire. He witnessed the kings and mighty ones being dragged and cast into this deep, fiery abyss. Enoch's eyes beheld the preparation of immense iron chains, heavy beyond measure, being made for these individuals. Enoch asked the angel of peace accompanying him, "For whom are these chains being prepared?" The angel responded, "These chains are for the hosts of Azazel. They will be used to cast them into the abyss of total condemnation. Their jaws will be covered with rough stones, just as the Lord of Spirits has commanded. On that great day, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Phanuel will seize them and throw them into the burning furnace. This will be the Lord of Spirits' vengeance for their unrighteousness, for yielding to Satan and leading astray those who live on earth. In those days, the Lord of Spirits will send punishment. He will open all the water chambers above the heavens and the fountains below the earth." The waters above the heavens, representing the masculine, will merge with the waters below the earth, representing the feminine. Together, they will destroy all who dwell on the earth and those living at the ends of the heavens. When they recognize the evil they have done on earth, they will perish by these waters. Afterward, the head of days expressed regret, saying, "I have destroyed all who dwell on the earth in vain." He swore by his great name, From now on, I will not do this again. I will set a sign in the heavens as a pledge of goodwill between me and them forever, as long as the heavens are above the earth. This is my command. When the time comes for me to grasp them by the hand of the angels during the day of tribulation and pain, my chastisement and wrath will be upon them, declares the Lord of spirits. Mighty kings of the earth, you will witness my elect one sitting on the throne of glory, judging Azazel, his associates, and all his hosts in the name of the Lord of spirits. Enoch saw the hosts of the angels of punishment, armed with scourges and chains of iron and bronze. He asked the angel of peace, "To whom are those carrying the scourges going?" The angel answered, "They are going to the elect and beloved ones to cast them into the abyss of the valley. In this valley, the elect and beloved will be gathered. Their lives will come to an end, and their days of leading astray will be no more. In those days, the angles will return and move eastward towards the Parthians and Medes. They will incite unrest among the kings, rousing them from their thrones. These kings will burst forth like lions from their dens and wolves among their flocks, trampling over the land of the elect. But the city of the righteous will hinder their advance. They will fight amongst themselves, and their right hands will turn against one another. Men will no longer recognize their brothers, or sons their fathers and mothers, leading to a slaughter with countless corpses and punishment that will not be in vain. In those days, Sheol will open its jaws, swallowing them up, and their destruction will be complete. Sheol will consume the sinners in the presence of the elect. And it came to pass after this that Enoch saw another host of wagons, with men riding on them, traveling on the winds from the east, the west, and the south. The noise of their wagons was thunderous. When this tumult occurred, the holy ones in heaven noticed it, causing the pillars of the earth to shift from their places. The sound echoed from one end of the heavens to the other in a single day. All beings will fall down and worship the Lord of spirits. This marks the end of the second parable. And Enoch began to speak the third parable concerning the righteous and elect. Blessed are ye righteous and elect, for glorious shall be your lot. The righteous will bask in the light of the sun, and the elect will dwell in the light of eternal life. Their days will be endless, and the days of the holy will be without count. They shall seek the light and find righteousness with the Lord of spirits. Peace will be theirs in the name of the eternal Lord. And after this it shall be said to the holy in heaven that they should seek out the secrets of righteousness, the heritage of faith. For it has become as bright as the sun upon earth, and darkness has passed. There will be a light that never fades, and it will have no end. The darkness will be destroyed first, and the light of uprightness will be established forever before the Lord of spirits. In those days, Enoch's eyes were opened to the secrets of the lightning and the lights, and the judgments they execute. They bring blessings or curses as the Lord of spirits wills. And Enoch saw the secrets of the thunder, and how when it roars in the heavens, its sound is heard on earth. He witnessed the judgments executed, whether for well-being and blessing or for a curse, according to the word of the Lord of spirits. And after this, all the secrets of the lights and lightnings were revealed to Enoch. They illuminate for blessings and fulfillment. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month in the life of Enoch, a great quaking occurred. The heavens trembled, and the hosts of the Most High, as well as the angels, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, were deeply disturbed. The head of days took his seat on the throne of his glory, surrounded by the angels and the righteous. A great trembling seized Enoch. Fear overwhelmed him. His body weakened, and he fell upon his face. Michael sent another angel from among the holy ones, who raised Enoch up. When Enoch was raised, his spirit returned, for he had been unable to endure the sight of the heavenly host and the commotion shaking the heavens. "Why are you so troubled by this vision?" Michael asked him. "Until today, the Lord has extended his mercy to those on earth, showing patience and long-suffering. But a time is coming when the power, judgment, and punishment that the Lord of Spirits has prepared will descend upon those who defy his law, those who reject justice, and those who speak his name in vain. That day is already prepared, a covenant for the chosen, but a dreadful inquisition for the wicked. On that day, his punishment will not be withheld, and the judgment will be so severe that mothers will perish with their children, fathers with their offspring. Afterward, the judgment will be carried out with the Lord's justice and compassion." Michael continued, "Two great creatures were set apart on that day. Leviathan, the female, was cast into the depths of the oceans to dwell near the water's springs. The male, Behemoth, was placed in a desolate wilderness called Duidain, east of the garden where the elect dwell. This is where Enoch's forefather, the seventh from Adam, was taken up, the first man created by the Lord of Spirits. Curious, Enoch asked one of the angels to reveal the power of these beasts and to explain how they were separated on a single day, one thrown into the sea and the other into the dry wilderness. "You seek to know what is hidden," the angel responded. Another angel, guiding Enoch, began to unveil the mysteries of the cosmos, explaining the workings of the heavens, the depths of the earth, the ends of the firmament, and the foundation of the world. He showed Enoch the chambers of the winds and how they are divided and measured, each portal corresponding to its own power. The angel explained the movement of the moon, the divisions of the stars by name, and how everything in creation has its designated order. The angel spoke of the thunder, revealing the secret places where it rests, waiting for its roar. Thunder and lightning, though not one, are bound together. They move through the power of the Spirit and never part. When the lightning flashes, thunder soon follows, and the Spirit controls the pause between them. "The storehouse of thunder," he said, "is as vast as the sands, and each peal is restrained and released by the Spirit to move across the earth." The angel went on to describe the powerful spirit of the sea, which pulls the waters back and forth across the mountains with unyielding strength. He also spoke of the spirits of frost, hail, snow, and mist, each governed by its own angel. "The snow," he said, "rises like smoke and contains a spirit of its own. Frost. The mist, unlike the others, dwells in its own chamber, glorious in both light and darkness, with an angel overseeing its course through the seasons. The dew, too, has its place at the edges of the heavens, connected to the chambers of rain. As the rain is released from its chamber, angels lead it forth, uniting it with the waters of the earth. Rain is a gift to nourish the earth, decreed by the Most High, and angels oversee its measure. As Enoch beheld these wonders, the angel of peace who accompanied him said, "These two great monsters, Leviathan and Behemoth, were prepared in accordance with God's greatness." In those days, Enoch saw angels being given long cords, with which they took to the skies and flew northward. He asked the angel with him why they had taken these cords and left. "They have gone to measure," the angel answered. "These cords will measure the righteousness of the chosen, strengthening their faith, so they may forever hold fast to the name of the Lord of Spirits." The angel continued, "The righteous will dwell together, and these measures will reveal all mysteries, what lies beneath the earth, those lost in the desert, those devoured by beasts or by the fish of the sea. They will return, upheld by the elect one, for none will be destroyed before the Lord of Spirits." All of heaven received a command, and with one voice they praised the Holy One. Their words were wise, filled with life, and they blessed the Lord of Spirits with fire-like brilliance. The elect one was placed on a throne of glory to judge all the deeds of the holy in heaven, weighing their actions on a divine balance. As he lifted his face to judge the hidden paths and secret ways of the righteous, all of heaven cried out in unison, blessing and glorifying the name of the Lord of Spirits. On that day, the entire host of heaven, from cherubim to seraphim and the mighty angels of power, will raise their voices in one song of praise. They will exalt the Lord of Spirits with faith, wisdom, patience, mercy, justice, and peace. Blessed is he, they will declare, and may the name of the Lord of Spirits be praised forever. All the heavenly beings who never sleep will bless him, as will the holy ones in the garden of life, every spirit of light, and all flesh upon the earth. They will glorify and magnify his name beyond measure. For the mercy of the Lord of Spirits is vast, and his patience endures. All his works and everything he has created will be revealed to the righteous and the elect in his name. The Lord issued a command to the kings, the powerful, and the exalted ones of the earth, saying, "Open your eyes and lift up your strength, if you are able to recognize the elect one." The Lord of Spirits then placed the elect one upon his glorious throne, and righteousness poured forth from him. His mere words would strike down sinners, and all the unrighteous would be obliterated from his presence. On that day, the kings, the mighty, and all who rule the earth would stand in awe. They would gaze upon him sitting on his throne, where righteousness is judged, and no falsehood can be spoken before him. Suddenly, they would feel pain as intense as a woman in labor, suffering as she brings forth her child into the world. They would glance at one another, terror etched upon their faces, their hearts heavy with dread. Despair would seize them when they see the Son of Man seated on the throne of glory. The kings, the mighty, and all who possess the earth will finally acknowledge him who was hidden from their sight but ruled over all. They will bless, glorify, and praise the one who was concealed, preserved by the Most High from the beginning, and revealed only to the elect. In that moment, the chosen and the holy will gather before him, standing firm. The kings and the mighty, once exalted in their own eyes, will fall face down in worship. They will plead for mercy from the Son of Man, placing their hope in him. Yet the Lord of Spirits will press them so harshly that they will flee from his presence, their faces full of shame, darkness deepening upon them. He will hand them over to the angels of punishment to exact vengeance for their oppression of his chosen ones. Their downfall will be witnessed by the righteous and elect, who will rejoice, for the wrath of the Lord of Spirits will rest upon the oppressors. His sword will be drenched in their blood. On that day, the righteous and elect will be saved, never again to witness the faces of sinners and the unjust. The Lord of Spirits will dwell among them, and they will share meals with the Son of Man, rising and lying down in peace forever and ever. The righteous and the elect will rise from the earth, no longer burdened with sorrow. They will be clothed in garments of glory, garments of life bestowed by the Lord of Spirits, which will never age nor fade. Their glory will endure eternally before the Lord of Spirits. In those days, the mighty and the kings who once ruled the earth will beg for mercy. Delivered into the hands of the angels of punishment, they will cry out for just a little respite. They will long to fall down and worship the Lord of Spirits, to confess their sins before him. They will praise and glorify him, saying, "Blessed is the Lord of Spirits, the Lord of Kings, the Lord of the Mighty, the Lord of the Rich, the Lord of Glory, and the Lord of Wisdom." His power is splendid and secret, spanning generations upon generations. His glory is eternal, and his righteousness cannot be measured. Then they will lament, "If only we had rest to glorify and thank him, to confess our faith before his glory. But now we find no rest. We chase after it and grasp at nothing. Light has vanished from us, and we dwell forever in darkness." With deep regret, they will admit, "We did not believe in him or glorify his name. Instead, we placed our hope in our kingdoms and our glory. Now, in our suffering, he does not save us. We find no peace, no respite for our confessions, though his judgments are true and just, showing no partiality." They will realize the futility of their lives, saying, "We lived filled with unrighteous gains." Yet even that could not prevent us from being dragged down into the burdens of Sheol. Shame and darkness will cover their faces as they are cast out from the presence of the Son of Man. His sword will remain before them, driving them away, never to return. Thus the Lord of Spirits declares his judgment upon the mighty, the kings, the exalted, and those who rule the earth. Their fate is sealed before the Lord of Spirits. In that place, other hidden forms appeared to Enoch. He heard the voice of an angel saying, "These are the angels who descended to earth and revealed hidden things to mankind, leading them into sin." In those days, Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech, and she became pregnant, giving birth to a son. This child was unlike any other. His skin was as white as snow, with a flush of red like the blooming of a rose. His hair, long and white as wool, fell in soft waves, and his eyes were radiant and beautiful. When the infant opened his eyes, the light that poured from them illuminated the entire house, filling it with a brightness akin to the sun. In that moment, the child rose in the arms of the midwife, and as if guided by a higher power, opened his mouth and spoke words of blessing to the Lord of righteousness. Lamech, the child's father, was struck with terror. Overcome by fear, he fled from his home and went in haste to his father, Methuselah. He cried out, "I have brought forth a strange son, one unlike any man. He bears the likeness of the sons of the God of heaven, and his nature is different from ours. His eyes shine like the rays of the sun, and his face is full of glory. It seems to me that he is not of my blood, but of the angels. I fear that in his days great wonders will unfold upon the earth." Lamech, trembling, pleaded with his father, "Now I ask of you, go to Enoch, our ancestor, and seek the truth from him, for he dwells among the angels and will surely know what this means." Upon hearing these words, Methuselah set out to find Enoch, journeying to the very ends of the earth where he had heard Enoch resided. He called out with a loud voice, and Enoch, hearing him, came to meet him. "Behold, here I am, my son," said Enoch. "Why have you sought me?" Methuselah answered, "I have come to you with great anxiety. A vision has troubled me, and I am deeply disturbed. My son Lamech has had a child, but this child is unlike any other. His skin is whiter than snow and redder than the bloom of a rose. His hair is whiter than wool, and his eyes shine with the brilliance of the sun. When he opened his eyes, he lit up the entire house. He rose in the midwife's hands and blessed the Lord of heaven. Lamech, in his fear, fled to me, doubting that the child is his own, believing him to be in the likeness of the angels of heaven. I have come to you to learn the truth of this." Enoch listened and then spoke with solemnity. "The Lord is about to do a new thing on the earth. This I have seen in a vision. In the days of my father Jared, some of the angels of heaven transgressed the command of the Lord. They sinned and broke the law by taking human wives. With them, they bore children, committing great sin. Soon a great destruction will sweep over the earth, a flood that will last 1 full year, cleansing the land of its impurities. But this son who has been born to you, he shall be spared. He and his 3 children will survive when all other men perish. Giants shall walk the earth, born not of spirit but of flesh, and they will bring great punishment upon the world. Yet through it all, the earth will be purified of its corruption." Enoch continued, "Now go and tell your son Lamech that this child is indeed his own, born of his flesh. You shall name him Noah, for he will be left to you, and he and his sons will be saved from the destruction that is coming upon the earth, for all the sin and unrighteousness that will culminate in his days." Enoch's voice grew heavier as he warned, "But even after the flood, the earth will again fall into deeper wickedness, more than before. I know this, for I have seen the mysteries of the holy ones, revealed to me by the Lord. He has shown me, and I have read it in the heavenly tablets. The transgressions will continue, generation after generation, until finally, a generation of righteousness arises. When that day comes, all sin will be destroyed, and goodness will fill the earth." Enoch then turned to Methuselah. "Go now, my son, and tell Lamech that this child is his, and that the words I speak are true." When Methuselah heard the words of his father, he returned to Lamech, telling him all that Enoch had revealed. Lamech named his son Noah, for it was foretold that Noah would bring comfort to the earth after the great destruction. In those days, Noah beheld the earth, and his heart grew heavy with sorrow. The ground beneath his feet had sunken, and he knew that destruction was near, inevitable. With a deep, trembling voice, he cried out, not once, but 3 times, "Hear me, hear me, hear me!" His plea echoed across the desolate lands as he sought the wisdom of his grandfather, Enoch, his soul burdened with dread. From the silence, Enoch responded, "What has caused such despair on the earth that it trembles so violently? Speak to me, Noah, for I fear that this turmoil may consume even me." But as Noah began to reply, the earth quaked beneath him. A great upheaval tore through the land, and a voice, mighty, reverberating, thundered from the heavens. Overcome with awe and fear, Noah collapsed, his face pressed against the earth. In that moment, Enoch appeared, standing tall and radiant beside him. With gentle reproach, he asked, "Why, my child, have you called out to me with such anguish and tears?" His voice grew solemn as he continued, "A decree has been sent forth from the very presence of the Lord. Those who dwell on the earth are marked for ruin, for they have uncovered forbidden knowledge. They have learned the hidden secrets of the angels, the violent ways of the Satans, and have tapped into powers never meant for man. They have mastered sorcery and witchcraft, and they have created molten images that curse the earth." He spoke of the mysteries they had stolen. They have drawn silver from the dust of the earth, discovered the origin of soft metals, and yet lead and tin, unlike the others, spring forth from a fountain deep within the earth. This fountain is guarded by an angel, a being of immense power and authority. Then Enoch took Noah by the hand, lifting him from the ground. "Go now, my son, for I have sought the Lord of Spirits concerning this chaos that stirs the earth." His reply was clear. "Their judgment is sealed, and it shall not be delayed. Because of the sorceries they have unearthed, and the darkness they have embraced, the earth and all who dwell upon it will be swept away in destruction." With a grave tone, Enoch revealed the fate of those who had transgressed. "These sinners have no hope of repentance. They are damned for eternity, for they have unveiled what was meant to remain hidden. But fear not, Noah, for the Lord of Spirits knows you are pure, untouched by this corruption. You are guiltless in his eyes." Enoch's voice softened, filled with both sorrow and hope. "The Lord has chosen your name to dwell among the holy. He will preserve you, even as the earth falls to ruin. And from your line a legacy shall rise, a royal and righteous seed, destined for great honor. A fountain of righteousness shall spring forth from your descendants, beyond measure, and for all time." Then Enoch showed Noah the angels of punishment, fierce and ready, prepared to unleash the powers of the deep waters beneath the earth. They stood waiting to bring judgment and destruction upon all who walked the land. But the Lord of Spirits held them back, commanding the waters to remain in check, for the time had not yet come. And so Noah departed from the presence of his grandfather, burdened with the knowledge of what was to come. In the days that followed, the word of God came to Noah. It was a voice like thunder, yet tender with love. Noah, your fate has come before me, blameless and pure. You are a man of love and righteousness. Even now the angels are building a great wooden structure. When their task is complete, I will lay my hand upon it and bless it. From this vessel, the seed of life will emerge, and the earth will be renewed. God's promise was firm. Your descendants shall be established forever. They will spread across the earth, not in desolation, but in abundance. They will be fruitful and multiply, and my blessing will rest upon them generation after generation. Then God spoke of the fallen angels. Those who have brought unrighteousness upon the earth will be cast into the burning valley, the same valley your grandfather Enoch once showed you. It lies in the west, among the mountains rich with gold, silver, iron, and the soft metals of tin and lead. There, a great upheaval will take place, the very waters themselves convulsing with fire. The molten metal will pour forth, and from it will rise a stench of sulfur, joining the burning waters of the valley where the fallen angels are condemned. Noah saw the vision clearly, a valley of fire and flowing streams of molten metal, where those who led mankind astray would be punished for all eternity. But the waters that flowed through the valley would also serve a strange dual purpose. For the kings and the mighty, those who still walked the earth in pride, the waters would bring healing to their bodies. Yet even as their flesh was soothed, their spirits would be tormented, for they had denied the Lord of spirits. Each day they would see their punishment, and yet refuse to believe in his name. As the flames consumed their bodies, the torment of their spirits would grow, changing forever, in proportion to their suffering. Before the Lord of spirits, no word would go unjudged. Their fate was sealed, for they had followed the desires of their flesh and denied the Spirit of the Lord. In that day, the waters themselves would transform. When the fallen angels were punished in the fiery streams, the waters would grow cold. The springs of healing would turn bitter, and those who once sought refuge in their warmth would find only ice. Noah heard the archangel Michael declare, "This judgment upon the angels is a testimony for the kings and rulers of the earth. They have sought these waters for the healing of their bodies, but they will not see, nor will they believe that these same waters will one day burn with unquenchable fire, a fire that will consume them for eternity." In the aftermath of the judgment, my revered grandfather Enoch, with deep solemnity, bestowed upon me the sacred teachings inscribed in the book of parables. He meticulously gathered these ancient secrets and revealed them to me with reverent care, as though offering a priceless heirloom of divine wisdom. On that fateful day, Michael, the archangel of might and justice, turned to Raphael and spoke with a voice laden with dread and awe. "The weight of the Spirit, the severity of the judgment upon the hidden truths, is almost too much to bear," he said. "Who among us can endure such a profound and fierce judgment, a judgment so consuming that it causes even the steadfast to melt away?" With troubled resolve, Michael addressed Raphael once more. "Who among the heavenly hosts can remain unmoved by the anguish of this decree? How can any heart remain unshaken by the severity of the judgment that has been pronounced upon those who have led the earth astray?" When Michael stood before the Lord of Spirits, he declared with unyielding resolve, "I will not advocate for them before the Lord, for the anger of the Lord of Spirits burns fiercely against them. They have assumed the place of the Lord, usurping his authority. Therefore, all that was hidden, all that was kept from them, shall now be laid bare, and their fate is sealed for eternity. Neither angel nor man shall share in this judgment. They alone shall bear the weight of their eternal damnation. In the wake of this divine judgment, terror shall grip the hearts of the angels, who will tremble at the sight of the revelations they have shown to mankind. They will be the harbingers of fear, their own names whispered with dread among the earth's inhabitants. Behold the names of these angels, each a bearer of dark secrets and destruction. The first, Samjaza, the second, Artakifa, the third, Armen, the fourth, Kokabel, the fifth, Turael, the sixth, Rumjal, the seventh, Danjal, the eighth, Nekael, the ninth, Barakel, the 10th, Azazel, the 11th, Armaros, the 12th, Batarjal, the 13th, Busasejal, the 14th, Hananel, the 15th, Turel, the 16th, Simapeziel, the 17th, Jetrel, the 18th, Tumael, the 19th, Turel, and the 20th, Rumael, and Azazel once more as the chief among them. These are the leaders of the angels commanding over hundreds, fifties, and tens. Their names are etched in infamy. The first among them was Jekon, the one who led astray all the sons of God, bringing them down to the earth and leading them into the arms of mortal temptation through the daughters of men. The second, Asbael, imparted to these divine beings wicked counsel, guiding them into impurity by defiling themselves with human flesh. The third, Gadrael, revealed to humankind the grievous instruments of death, the blows and tools of demise, from shields to swords. He led Eve astray and showed mankind the implements of war and destruction, thus perpetuating suffering on the earth. The fourth, Penimu, imparted the knowledge of bitter and sweet, unveiling the secrets of wisdom that led humanity into sin through the invention of writing, an art that has caused untold transgressions from ages past until the present day. For men were never meant to validate their actions with ink and parchment. They were created pure and righteous, unmarred by the destructive knowledge that now consumes them. The fifth angel, Kasdejar, unveiled to humankind the malevolent strikes of spirits and demons, including the fatal smitings of the unborn in the womb, the serpent's bites, and the harms caused by the scorching heat. His revelations brought about the torment of spirits and bodies alike. The sixth, Casbael, revealed the sacred oath he had made with the holy ones, an oath whose power was both formidable and binding. This oath had been entrusted to Michael, holding within it the strength to command and enforce divine order. The secrets of this oath are mighty. It was through this oath that the heavens were established before the world was made, and the earth was founded upon the waters. Beautiful springs emerged from the secret recesses of the mountains, and the seas were set with boundaries that it dare not transgress. The depths were secured, the sun and moon kept their course, and the stars completed their cycles, all by the power of this oath. The spirits of water, winds, and all elements were bound by it, and their paths were preserved from corruption. The voice of thunder, the light of lightning, the chambers of hail and frost, and all elements of weather give thanks and glorify the Lord of spirits eternally, for they are preserved by this oath. Great joy fills their hearts as they bless and extol the name of the Son of Man, who has been revealed and now sits upon the throne of glory. The judgment is given to him, and he will purge the earth of sinners, binding them with chains and casting them into their place of destruction. All their deeds shall vanish from the earth. From this moment forward, corruption shall have no place. The Son of Man, having taken his throne, will banish all evil before his presence. His word shall be strong and potent before the Lord of spirits. And it came to pass that during his earthly life, Enoch's name was exalted and raised to the attention of the Son of Man and the Lord of spirits, surpassing all those who dwelt upon the earth. In a grand celestial ascent, he was lifted upon the chariots of the Spirit, and as his name ascended, it gradually faded from among them. From that moment, Enoch was no longer counted among the mortal realm. Instead, he was placed between the two great winds, between the north and the west. There, the angels meticulously measured the domain allotted for the elect and the righteous. In that sacred space, he beheld the ancient patriarchs and the righteous, those who from the dawn of creation had resided in that exalted realm. It was after this momentous event that Enoch's spirit was transported to the heavens, ascending to the divine realms. There, he beheld the holy sons of God, stepping upon fiery paths. Their garments gleamed white, and their faces radiated with the brilliance of freshly fallen snow. He saw two streams of fire, their light akin to the hue of hyacinth, and overwhelmed by the vision, he fell prostrate before the Lord of Spirits. The archangel Michael, one of the exalted archangels, took him by his right hand, lifting him gently and guiding him through the divine mysteries. Michael revealed to him the hidden secrets of righteousness and the ultimate truths of the cosmos. He was shown the secrets of the farthest reaches of heaven, the chambers of the stars, and the pathways of the luminaries, all proceeding in divine order before the holy ones. Enoch's spirit was then translated into the heaven of heavens, where he beheld a magnificent structure composed of crystal-clear substances. Within this celestial edifice, tongues of living fire danced between the crystalline walls. He witnessed the girdle encircling this fiery house, adorned with streams of living fire flowing from all four sides. Seraphim, cherubim, and Ophanim, celestial beings who neither slumber nor rest, stood in vigilant guard around the throne of divine glory. Enoch beheld an innumerable host of angels, thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling the divine house. Among them were Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Phanuel, and other holy angels of the highest order, all moving in and out of that sacred place. From that celestial abode emerged Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Phanuel, and countless holy angels. Accompanying them was the head of days, his head radiant and pure as wool, his attire beyond description. Overwhelmed, Enoch fell on his face, his entire body slackened, and his spirit was transformed. In this state of divine ecstasy, he cried out with a mighty voice, imbued with the spirit of power, and he blessed, glorified, and extolled the Lord of Spirits. The blessings that flowed from Enoch's lips were received with great favor by the head of days. The head of days, accompanied by Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Phanuel, and an uncountable multitude of angels, approached him. In a voice filled with reverence, the angel spoke to him. "Behold the Son of Man, born unto righteousness. Righteousness envelops him, and the righteousness of the head of days shall never depart from him." The angel continued, "He brings to you a message of peace, a peace that has emanated from the creation of the world and shall endure forever. Walk in his ways, for righteousness shall never abandon him. In his presence you shall find your dwelling and your heritage, and you shall be eternally united with him. Thus shall the Son of Man enjoy length of days, and the righteous shall walk in peace and integrity in the name of the Lord of Spirits, forever and ever." Enoch continued to unveil the divine knowledge imparted to him, revealing the profound secrets of the celestial bodies and their movements. Under the guidance of Uriel, the holy angel, Enoch was shown the intricate mechanisms of the heavens. Uriel disclosed to Enoch the precise laws governing the celestial bodies, illustrating how each luminary follows its designated path, according to their orders, dominions, and seasons. These laws are set to remain in place until the dawn of the new creation, which will last for eternity. Uriel began, "The first law of the luminaries is that the sun rises from the eastern portals of heaven and sets in the western portals. There are 6 portals through which the sun ascends, and 6 through which it descends. The moon follows similar paths, rising and setting within these portals, as do the leaders of the stars and their charges, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, all in precise, harmonious order. Additionally, there are many windows flanking these portals on both the right and left. The great luminary, the sun, emerges first. Its circumference mirrors the expanse of the heavens, and it is ablaze with radiant and warming fire. Driven by the wind, its chariot ascends, and as the sun sets, it returns through the northern realms to reach the eastern portals, proceeding to its designated entrance and illuminating the heavens. In the first month, the sun rises through the 4th of the 6 eastern portals, which contains 12 window openings. Each window emits a flame when opened at the appropriate season. For 30 mornings, the sun rises through this 4th portal and sets through the 4th portal in the west, gradually extending the daylight and shortening the night. On the 30th morning, the day surpasses the night by 1/9, with the day comprising 10 parts and the night 8. The sun then transitions to the 5th portal, rising and setting through it for 30 mornings. As it moves, the day lengthens by 2 parts, totaling 11, while the night shortens to 7 parts. Next, the sun advances to the 6th portal, where it rises and sets for 31 mornings. On this day, the daylight doubles the night, with the day measuring 12 parts and the night 6. Afterward, the sun ascends to reduce the length of the day and increase the night. It returns to the 6th portal in the east and completes 30 mornings before diminishing the day by 1 part, making the day 11 parts long and the night 7. Subsequently, the sun departs the 6th portal in the west, traveling to the 5th portal in the east. For 30 mornings, it rises and sets through this portal, decreasing the day length by 2 parts to 10 and increasing the night to 8. The sun continues this pattern, transitioning to the 4th portal for 31 mornings. Here, the day and night become equal, each consisting of 9 parts. The sun then proceeds to the 3rd portal, where it rises and sets for 30 mornings. The night grows longer than the day until the 30th morning, with the night spanning 10 parts and the day 8. Moving to the 2nd portal for 30 mornings, the night lengthens to 11 parts, while the day shortens to 7. Finally, the sun enters the 1st portal for 31 mornings, where the night reaches its longest duration, being double the day. On this day, the night comprises 12 parts and the day 6. The sun completes its orbit, returning to traverse its divisions and setting in the west opposite the portal from which it rose. As a result, the night decreases by 1/9 and the night becomes 11 parts with the day at 7. The sun then re-enters the 2nd portal in the east, following its established path for 30 mornings, rising and setting as before. This causes the night to shorten to 10 parts while the day extends to 8. Subsequently, the sun rises from this portal and sets in the west, eventually returning to the 3rd portal for 31 mornings, where the day and night are equal at 9 parts each. Thus, the cycle completes with a year totaling 364 days. Uriel also showed Enoch the laws governing the moon, the smaller luminary. The moon's circumference, akin to the expanse of heaven, is driven by the wind, and its light is granted in precise measure. The moon rises with a 14th part of its light, Uriel explained, and it continues to grow until the 15th day, when it is fully illuminated. After reaching its fullness, it begins to wane, reducing its light in a precise sequence. This pattern repeats consistently, with the moon completing its cycle in alignment with the sun. In this way, the movements of the moon ensure that the years are accurately measured, maintaining the balance and order of time. Uriel showed Enoch the movements and positions of all the celestial bodies, including the sun, moon, and stars. Each of them follows a fixed path, obeying the commands set by the Lord of Glory. who established them to rule over the heavens and the earth. The angel Uriel then explained the 12 portals located around the sun's chariot. From these portals, rays of sunlight emerge, providing warmth to the earth. He also revealed the portals from which the winds and dew flow, explaining how these forces control the daily and seasonal cycles. There are 12 portals in total, which are used by the sun, moon, and stars to maintain the natural order of the cosmos. Uriel showed how the balance between light and darkness, warmth and cold, prosperity and desolation is sustained by the Creator's design. Finally, Uriel demonstrated the workings of the winds that come from 12 portals around the edges of the earth. These winds bring different outcomes, ranging from blessings and abundance to destruction and desolation. The east wind carries drought and heat, while another from the east brings rain and fertility. The north winds deliver cold and snow, while the winds from the west bring mixed conditions. The laws of the heavens were unveiled before my eyes, Enoch declared, his voice filled with awe. I saw how every star, every planet, and every force of nature moves with perfect precision, following the path assigned to them, maintaining the delicate harmony and balance of all creation. In those days, Uriel spoke unto Enoch, saying, Behold, I have revealed all to you, O Son of Man. I have unveiled the hidden mysteries of the sun and the moon, the sacred leaders of the stars of the heavens, and all those celestial beings who govern their movement, their duties, and the appointed times of their rising and setting. And as he spoke, a shadow seemed to loom over the days of the future, and he declared, In the days when the hearts of men have turned cold, the years shall be shortened, and the earth itself will grieve. The fields and lands that once teemed with life will falter, and the seeds sown will delay their growth. All things that dwell upon the face of the earth shall be altered. Their times will be no more as they once were. The rain, which once fell as a gift from the heavens, shall be withheld, and the skies shall close themselves in silence. As the angel's voice echoed through the winds of prophecy, the sorrow of the earth became clearer. In those days, he continued, the fruits of the earth shall wither, arriving late in their season, if they come at all. The trees, once heavy with life, will hold back their fruits, and the cycles of abundance shall be broken. Even the moon, faithful in her course, shall forsake her path, and not appear at her appointed time. He lifted his gaze towards the heavens and continued, And in those fateful days, the sun itself shall be seen, but not as you have known it. It shall journey toward the edge of the great western chariot and shine more fiercely than ever before, breaking the sacred order of light. He spoke with a voice filled with lament. The chiefs of many stars shall forsake their appointed paths, and they shall wander, disobedient to the order that was entrusted to them. Their duties and their seasons will be forsaken, and they will fail to appear at the appointed times set by the Creator. The sacred order of the heavens, hidden from the eyes of the sinful, shall become a mystery lost to them, and the minds of men shall stumble in their understanding. They will look to the stars with confusion, erring in their thoughts, and worse still, they will be led astray and worship the stars as gods. The angel's tone grew darker as he foretold the outcome of such folly. Evil will multiply upon the earth, spreading like a plague upon mankind. And with the coming of this evil shall follow a swift and terrible punishment, one so mighty that it shall destroy all who persist in their wickedness. Thus, Uriel concluded his dire warnings, and the silence that followed was heavy with foreboding. In another moment of divine revelation, Uriel then called upon Enoch and said unto him, Behold, gaze upon the heavenly tablets, read what is inscribed upon them, and take heed of every single detail, for the wisdom contained within is for your understanding. Enoch, with reverence, observed the heavenly tablets and read the inscriptions written by the hand of the Almighty. In them were contained all the deeds of mankind, from the beginning of the earth until the remotest generations yet to come. As he read and comprehended the vastness of human history, Enoch's heart was moved, and he blessed the great Lord, the eternal King of glory, for all his wondrous works. His lips spoke praises for the Lord's unending patience, and he blessed him for his mercy upon the children of men. And Enoch, filled with wisdom, declared, "Blessed is the man who dies in righteousness and goodness, for there is no record of wrongdoing against him. In his name no day of judgment shall ever be found." When these revelations had been made known to Enoch, the 7 holy ones who had been his guides brought him back to his earthly abode. They stood before the door of his house and spoke, saying, "Enoch, you must now declare these truths to your son Methuselah and to all your children. Show them that no flesh is righteous before the eyes of the Lord, for he is the creator of all. He is the source of all life, and to him alone is judgment reserved." The angelic voices continued, "You have been granted but 1 more year to dwell among your kin, so that you may give your final commands and teach your children. Write down all that you have seen and testify to the generations that will come after you. And in the 2nd year, we shall return and take you from the midst of men." Uriel's words were filled with both warning and hope. "Be strong in heart, for the righteous will proclaim righteousness to the righteous. Those who walk in the path of goodness shall rejoice together and offer their blessings to one another. But the sinners shall perish with the sinners, and the apostates will fall into the abyss with those who have abandoned the truth. The righteous, however, though they may suffer because of the deeds of men, shall be taken away to escape the treacherous ways of the godless." When the angels had finished speaking, their voices fell silent, and Enoch returned to his people, his heart full of praise for the Lord of all creation. And in the days that followed, Enoch spoke to his son Methuselah, recounting all the knowledge he had been given, and he wrote down every detail for him. He urged Methuselah to preserve the books and to pass them down through the generations, so that this wisdom, which surpassed the understanding of men, might be known throughout all ages. Enoch spoke solemnly, "I have given you wisdom, my son, and to your children. Ensure that they pass this knowledge on to their descendants, for this wisdom is beyond human thought. Those who understand it will remain vigilant, never sleeping, but listening and learning with eager hearts. To them, this wisdom shall be more satisfying than the finest of foods." He blessed all the righteous, saying, "Blessed are those who walk in the way of righteousness, and do not sin like the sinners." In the reckoning of all their days, the sun moved steadily through the heavens, entering and exiting the portals of the sky for 30 days at a time, always accompanied by the leaders of the stars. But there were 4 extra days interspersed throughout the year, marking the divisions between the seasons, and it was these days that would cause confusion among men. They would fail to account for them correctly, miscalculating the passage of time. These days were sacred, meant to complete the year's cycle, but mankind would struggle to recognize them. The sun's journey completed the year in 364 days, a number that was precise and recorded for all eternity. Uriel, the holy angel who had been given dominion over the hosts of heaven, had shown this to Enoch, revealing the mysteries of the luminaries, the months, the festivals, the years, and the days. Uriel, with his divine authority, held sway over night and day, over the shining of the sun and moon and the stars that spun endlessly in their heavenly chariots. There was an order to the stars, each one placed in its season, aligned with the festivals and the passing months. The leaders of the stars, those who guided their courses, were appointed by name. 4 powerful beings governed the 4 divisions of the year: Milkiel, Helemelech, Melayal, and Naral. Beneath them, 12 other leaders directed the stars through each month, with countless others ensuring the days and seasons progressed with perfect order. At the start of the year, the leader Melkijal, also known as Tamaini, rose first. He governed the sun's rule for 91 days, and during his reign, the earth was marked by sweat, warmth, and calm skies. The trees burst into life, bearing fruit, their leaves unfurling, and the fields blossomed. Wheat ripened for harvest, roses bloomed, and the earth was full of beauty, though the trees of winter stood barren. Under Melkijal's guidance were 3 leaders, Berkael, Zelebsel, and Hilujasef, who ruled alongside him. But as his dominion ended, another rose, Helemelech, also called the Shining Sun. His reign too spanned 91 days, but the earth felt the burn of intense heat and dryness. The fruits ripened, heavy and sweet, ready for harvest. The sheep mated and carried their young, and the fields were gathered, their bounty collected in preparation for the winepress. During this time, the leaders who served under Helemelech were Gidaljal, Keel, Heel, and Asphale, each guiding their own order, until once again their rule came to its inevitable end, and the cycle continued, unbroken, as it had been ordained by the Creator himself. And now, Methuselah, my son, listen closely, for I will share with you all the visions that have been revealed to me. These visions, given by the Almighty, have been heavy upon my spirit, and I will recount them to you in their entirety. There were 2 great visions before I took a wife, each one different from the other. The first came when I was still learning the ways of writing, a time when my mind was young and eager. The second, far more terrible, came before I married your mother. It was then that I was shown a dreadful sight, one that chilled me to the core, and in my distress I turned my heart to the Lord in prayer. In that moment, I had laid myself down in the house of my grandfather Mahalalel. As I slept, the vision overtook me, and I saw the heavens collapse. The very firmament above us was torn away and fell, plunging to the earth with an overwhelming force. And when it struck the earth, I watched in horror as the ground opened into a vast abyss. The mountains, once steadfast and towering, were hurled upon each other, one upon the other, while the hills sank into the depths. Even the great trees, rooted in the earth since ancient times, were ripped from their foundations, cast into the abyss below, as if they were nothing. And then, from the depths of my soul, a word arose, and my mouth was filled with a cry. I lifted my voice and shouted, "The earth is destroyed." At that moment, my grandfather Mahalalel awakened me from my slumber, hearing my cries. He spoke to me with great concern. "Why do you wail so, my son? What has caused this lamentation within you?" I told him of the vision that had been shown to me, every dreadful detail of it. His face grew grave as he listened, and he said, "What you have seen is terrible indeed, my son. Your dream vision reveals the hidden secrets of the world's sin, and the weight of this sin will drag the earth into the abyss. It shall be destroyed with a mighty destruction." He looked at me with urgency and said, "Now rise, my son, and petition the Lord of glory, for you are faithful in his sight. Pray that he might leave a remnant upon the earth, that he does not utterly wipe out all of creation." My heart trembled at his words, and he continued, "For from the heavens this destruction will come, and the earth will be consumed by it." After that I arose and prayed with all my strength. I implored and beseeched the Lord to have mercy, and I wrote down my prayer for the generations to come. I promised that I would show everything to you, Methuselah, so that you might understand the gravity of what is to come. And after my prayer, I went outside and looked upon the heavens. I saw the sun rising in the east, casting its light over the world as it had since the beginning of time. The moon was setting in the west, and a few stars still lingered in the sky. The earth, despite what I had seen, still moved in the rhythm set by the Creator from the dawn of time. And I blessed the Lord, the God of judgment, praising him for his works. For he had made the sun to rise each day, to travel across the sky, following the path that he alone had ordained. Then, with hands lifted high, I praised the Holy and Great One. With the breath given to me by the Lord, and the tongue of flesh created for the children of men, I spoke in his name. Blessed art thou, O Lord, King of kings. Great and mighty is thy power, and everlasting is thy greatness. Thou art the Lord of all creation. The heavens are thy throne, and the earth is thy footstool forevermore. All dominion and power belong to thee, for throughout all generations thy reign endures. I continued in my praise. Thou hast created all things, O Lord, and nothing is too difficult for thee. From thy throne wisdom flows unceasing, and from thy presence nothing departs. Thou knowest and seest all, for nothing is hidden from thy sight. But as I prayed, my heart grew heavy with sorrow, for I knew that even the angels, the very hosts of heaven, had trespassed against the Lord. And upon the flesh of men, God's wrath would remain until the day of great judgment. I cried out, O God, O great King, I implore thee, hear my prayer. Leave me a posterity on this earth. Do not destroy all flesh. Do not let the world be left barren and without inhabitant, succumbing to eternal destruction. With a trembling voice I pleaded, let thy wrath fall upon the wicked, but let the righteous be as a seed planted in eternity. Hide not thy face from me, O Lord, hear the prayer of thy servant. After this, another vision came upon me, and I must tell you, my son, all that I saw. Enoch lifted his voice and spoke to Methuselah, listen carefully, my son, to the dream vision of your father. Before I took your mother, Edna, as my wife, I saw a vision while lying on my bed. In this vision, I beheld a great bull emerging from the earth, its coat as white as snow. Following it came a heifer, and with her 2 more bulls appeared, one black and the other red. Then the black bull gored the red one and chased him across the earth, and I could see the red bull no more. The black bull grew larger, and the heifer followed him, and from them many oxen were born, each resembling the black bull. I saw that the first cow left the presence of the white bull to search for the red one, but she could not find him. Her grief was great, and she wept bitterly for him, her sorrow filling the earth. But in time the white bull returned to her, comforting her, and she wept no more. Afterward she bore another white bull, and from this bull came many more, black cows among them. I watched in my sleep as the white bull grew and became a mighty creature, larger and stronger than all the others. From him many more white bulls were born, each following the one before in great numbers. As I slept once more, my eyes beheld a vision of the heavens above, and I saw a star fall from the sky. It descended and mingled among the oxen, grazing and feeding alongside them. Then I observed the large, dark oxen, and I saw that they had all shifted their stalls and pastures, intertwining their lives. They began to dwell together as one. In another vision, I looked up again, and many stars descended from heaven, converging upon that first fallen star. These stars transformed into bulls and joined the cattle, pasturing among them. I watched in astonishment as these newly formed bulls extended their organs like horses and covered the cows of the oxen. From this union, the cows bore strange offspring, elephants, camels, and asses. Fear gripped all the oxen at the sight of these monstrous creatures. Terrified, they began to bite and devour each other, goring with their horns. The earth itself trembled with fear and fled from their presence. In the vision, I witnessed a terrible sight. These creatures began to gore and devour one another, and the earth cried out in anguish. I lifted my eyes once more to heaven, and in the vision, beings like white men emerged from the celestial realm. 4 of these beings stepped forward, accompanied by 3 others. The 3 who arrived last seized me by the hand, lifting me away from the earthly generations and elevating me to a high and lofty place. They showed me a towering structure that loomed above the earth, while all the surrounding hills appeared small in comparison. One of the beings said to me, "Stay here and watch everything that happens to these elephants, camels, and asses, as well as the stars and the oxen. Observe all that befalls them." In the vision, I saw one of the first 4 beings who had come forth. He seized the original star that had fallen from heaven, binding it hand and foot before casting it into a narrow, deep, and dreadful abyss. Then another being drew a sword and handed it to the elephants, camels, and asses. Armed with this weapon, they began to strike each other, causing the earth to quake with the intensity of their conflict. As I watched, one of the 4 beings who had descended from heaven began to hurl stones at these creatures. He gathered all the great stars whose organs resembled those of horses, bound them hand and foot, and cast them into the same abyss of the earth, leaving them confined and helpless. One of the 4 beings approached the white bull and revealed a profound secret to him, causing no fear. The bull, transformed into a man, constructed a magnificent vessel for himself and dwelled within it. Alongside him, 3 other bulls took refuge in the vessel, their presence shielded within. Once more, I directed my gaze toward the heavens and beheld a towering roof, adorned with 7 torrents of water. These torrents poured forth an abundance of water into a vast enclosure. I looked again, and fountains erupted on the floor of that great enclosure, causing the water to rise and swell. The enclosure gradually filled with water until it was entirely submerged. As the water deepened, darkness and mist thickened. The water crested above the enclosure's height and began to overflow, covering the earth beneath. All the cattle within the enclosure were gathered together, and I watched as they sank, consumed by the rising waters and perished within their depths. The vessel, however, remained afloat, while all the oxen, elephants, camels, and asses sank beneath the water, disappearing from sight and meeting their doom. In the vision, I saw the torrents recede from the towering roof, revealing the earth's surface. Chasms were filled, and new abysses opened up. The waters drained into these new chasms, making the earth visible once again. The vessel settled on solid ground as darkness receded and light emerged. The white bull, now a man, emerged from the vessel along with the 3 bulls who had accompanied him. One was white like him, another was blood red, and the last was black. The white bull departed from them. The bulls began to create beasts of the field and birds, leading to the emergence of diverse species: lions, tigers, wolves, dogs, hyenas, wild boars, foxes, squirrels, swine, falcons, vultures, kites, eagles, and ravens. Among these, a new white bull was born. Conflict arose among these creatures, but the newly born white bull fathered a wild ass and another white bull. The wild asses multiplied from this lineage. The bull, born from the first white bull, sired a black wild boar and a white sheep. The wild boar produced many offspring, while the sheep gave birth to 12 lambs. As the 12 lambs grew, one was given to the wild asses, who then passed it to the wolves. This sheep matured among the wolves. The lord of the sheep gathered the 11 remaining lambs and brought them to live and graze among the wolves. The flocks multiplied, growing numerous. The wolves, terrified of the increasing sheep, oppressed them fiercely, destroying their young and casting them into a river of great waters. The sheep cried out in anguish over their lost young and pleaded with their lord. One sheep, having escaped the wolves, fled to the wild asses. I witnessed the sheep's lament and their fervent pleas to their lord, who descended from his exalted dwelling in response. He called the sheep that had escaped and instructed it to warn the wolves not to harm the sheep. The sheep, following the Lord's command, went to the wolves, accompanied by another sheep. Together they entered the wolves' assembly and admonished them to cease their attacks on the sheep. Despite this, I saw how the wolves continued to oppress the sheep with all their might, causing them to cry out in distress. The Lord came to the sheep, and they began to fight against the wolves. The wolves, in their turn, lamented, but the sheep's cries ceased. I observed as the sheep left the wolves behind, while the wolves, blinded and enraged, pursued them with relentless vigor. The Lord of the sheep led them, his presence radiant and awe-inspiring. All the sheep followed him, their faces illuminated by his glory. The wolves chased the sheep until they reached a vast sea. The sea parted, standing as walls of water on either side, with their Lord guiding them and placing himself between the sheep and the wolves. As the wolves, unable to see the sheep, ventured into the sea, they followed them into the midst of the waters, their pursuit unceasing. As the wolves caught sight of the Lord of the sheep, they turned in terror to flee from his formidable presence. The sea, however, gathered itself and returned to its original state. The waters surged and rose, ultimately engulfing the wolves. I witnessed the dreadful scene as every wolf that had pursued the sheep was drowned and perished in the swelling sea. Yet the sheep escaped from the watery deluge and ventured into a barren wilderness, devoid of water and sustenance. In this desolate land, their eyes were opened to their surroundings. I observed the Lord of the sheep tenderly pasturing them, providing both water and grass, while the leading sheep guided them. The leading sheep ascended to the peak of a towering rock, and the Lord of the sheep sent it back to the flock. I saw the Lord of the sheep standing before them, his appearance majestic, awe-inspiring, and fearsome. The sight of him instilled profound fear in the sheep. They trembled and quaked in his presence, crying out to the leading sheep, "We cannot endure the sight of our Lord, nor stand before him." The leading sheep climbed again to the top of the rock, but the sheep began to lose their way and wander from the path it had shown them, though the sheep remained unaware of their deviation. The Lord of the sheep grew exceedingly wrathful with them. The leading sheep, sensing this, descended from the rock and found the majority of the sheep blinded and strayed. Upon encountering the straying flock, they trembled in fear at its presence and longed to return to their safe pastures. The leading sheep gathered other sheep and went to those who had wandered. It began to cull the wayward sheep, instilling fear in them, and thereby leading the strays back to their fold. In the vision, I saw the leading sheep transform into a man and construct a grand house for the Lord of the sheep, placing all the sheep within it. I saw how the sheep met with the leading sheep that had become a man, who then fell asleep. The grand sheep perished, and smaller ones rose in their stead, leading the flock to a new pasture and a flowing stream of water. The leader, now a man, withdrew from the sheep and fell asleep, causing great mourning among the flock. They cried out desperately for their lost leader. Eventually, the sheep ceased their cries and crossed the stream. New leaders emerged, 2 sheep taking charge where the old ones had fallen asleep. I witnessed the sheep arrive in a beautiful, lush land. The sheep thrived and were satisfied in this pleasant place where the house stood among them. At times their vision was clear, and other times it was obscured, until a new sheep arose to lead them, restoring their sight. As the sheep faced challenges from dogs, foxes, and wild boars, the Lord of the sheep raised a ram from their midst to lead them. The ram fought fiercely against the predators, ultimately destroying them all. However, the ram that had once been glorious grew corrupt and began to assault and trample the sheep, misusing its power. The Lord of the sheep appointed another lamb, transforming it into a ram to replace the fallen leader. This new ram became the prince and leader of the sheep. But during these events, the sheep continued to suffer from oppression by the dogs, The first ram pursued the second, but the second ram fled in fear. Eventually, the dogs overpowered and brought down the first ram. The second ram then took charge, leading the sheep. The flock multiplied and grew, while the predators fled in fear before the ram's might. The ram defeated the wild beasts, which no longer had power over the sheep. The ram fathered many sheep before falling asleep. A young sheep then succeeded him as ram and became the new leader. The house grew large and expansive, built for the sheep, and a towering structure was erected for the Lord of the sheep. This house, though low, was overshadowed by the grand tower where the Lord resided, and the sheep provided a full table before him. Yet I saw that once again the sheep strayed and forsook their house. The Lord of the sheep sent emissaries from among them, but these were slain by the sheep. One emissary survived and cried out over the flock, but the Lord saved it and brought it to me to dwell there. Many other sheep were sent to lament and testify to the flock, but when they abandoned the Lord's house and tower, they fell away completely. Their eyes were blinded, and the Lord wrought great slaughter among them until they invited their own ruin. He delivered them into the hands of lions, tigers, wolves, hyenas, foxes, and all wild beasts, who tore the sheep to pieces. The Lord abandoned the house and tower, leaving the sheep at the mercy of the wild beasts. They were ravaged and devoured. In my distress I cried out with all my strength, pleading with the Lord of the sheep to intervene as the wild beasts continued to devour his flock. Yet the Lord of the sheep remained unmoved, even as he watched the devastation unfold before his eyes. He rejoiced in their being devoured, swallowed, and plundered, leaving them at the mercy of the ravenous beasts. Then he summoned 70 shepherds and handed the sheep over to them, commanding them, "Each of you shall now tend to the sheep and do everything I instruct you. I will give you a specific number of sheep, and you are to destroy only those I command you to." He entrusted the sheep to their care. But he also called upon another and said, "Observe everything the shepherds do to the sheep. Watch closely, for they will destroy more than I have ordered. Record every excess and all the destruction they commit. Note how many perish by my decree, and how many fall by their reckless will. Document the wrongdoings of each shepherd." And to this observer he added, "Do not reveal this to the shepherds, neither warn them nor speak to them of their misdeeds. Simply write down every sheep they destroy and present the full account to me." In time, the shepherds began to tend the sheep, but they slaughtered far more than they were instructed. They handed the sheep over to the lions and other wild beasts. The lions and tigers tore through the sheep, devouring them in great numbers. Even the wild boars feasted on them. And the shepherds set fire to the tower and brought the house of the sheep crashing down. Sorrow weighed heavily upon me as I gazed upon the ruins of the tower. For the house of the sheep lay in rubble, and I could no longer tell if any of the sheep had managed to return to it. The shepherds and their accomplices continued to surrender the sheep to the wild beasts, each receiving a fixed number. Meanwhile, the observer faithfully recorded in his book how many sheep each shepherd destroyed, and many more perished than was decreed. I could not contain my grief, and I wept bitterly for the slaughtered sheep. In my vision I saw the one who kept the record bringing the book before the Lord of the sheep. Every name, every act of destruction was written down, and the book was laid before him. The Lord read it, sealed it, and set it aside. I continued to watch as the shepherds pastured for 12 more hours. In that time, 3 sheep turned back and entered the ruins, rebuilding what had been lost. They began to restore the tower, which was then called the High Tower. They also set a table before it, but the bread they placed upon it was defiled, impure. Yet throughout all this, the eyes of the sheep remained blinded, and so too were the eyes of their shepherds. The sheep were delivered into the hands of their shepherds, only to be trampled and devoured. The Lord of the sheep, however, remained unmoved, even as his flock was scattered across the fields and mingled with the wild beasts. The shepherds made no effort to save them. Once again, the observer who had written down all these things took the book and brought it before the Lord of the sheep. He pleaded earnestly on behalf of the sheep and testified against the shepherds, laying bare their many transgressions. The Lord accepted the book and placed it beside him before the observer departed. I saw that 35 more shepherds were appointed to pasture the sheep, each fulfilling their term. As before, others took over when their time was up, continuing the cycle. Then I saw the sky darken as flocks of birds descended upon the sheep, eagles, vultures, kites, and ravens. But it was the eagles who led the assault. They began to feast on the sheep, tearing at their flesh and gouging out their eyes. The sheep cried out in agony as their bodies were devoured, and I, in my sleep, wept and mourned for the shepherds who had been entrusted with their care. The dogs, eagles, and kites continued their feast, leaving no trace of flesh, skin, or sinew. Only the bare bones of the sheep remained, and even those bones crumbled to the earth as the sheep dwindled in number. I watched as 23 more shepherds took up their duties, each fulfilling their period, spanning 58 more times. But amidst this horror, new lambs were born to the white sheep. Their eyes opened, and they began to cry out to the rest of the flock. Though the lambs called to their elders, the older sheep were deaf to their pleas, their ears blind to the truth. Then I saw the ravens swoop down upon the lambs. One lamb was seized, dashed to the ground, and devoured. Yet despite this, horns began to grow upon the lambs, though the ravens tried to tear them down. In time, one sheep sprouted a great horn, and its eyes were opened fully. This sheep turned and gazed upon the others, crying out to them. The rams heard the call, and they all rushed toward the one with the great horn. Even after all of this, the eagles, vultures, ravens, and kites continued their merciless attack, swooping down upon the sheep and tearing into them, devouring their flesh. And though the sheep suffered, they remained silent, while the rams cried out in sorrow and anguish. The ravens, desperate to overpower the ram, fought fiercely against it, seeking to break its mighty horn, yet they had no strength to defeat it. I watched as the shepherds, along with the eagles, vultures, and kites, called upon the ravens to shatter that ram's horn. They joined forces in a violent struggle, but the ram fought back with great desperation, crying out for deliverance. And then, before my eyes, the man who recorded the names of the shepherds descended from the presence of the Lord of the sheep. He came to the aid of the ram, revealing to it all that had been written. His arrival was the ram's salvation. At last, the Lord of the sheep appeared, his wrath burning like an unquenchable fire. Upon seeing him, all who had gathered, shepherds, beasts, and birds alike, fled in terror, scrambling to escape his gaze. They were cast into his shadow, consumed by fear. The eagles, vultures, ravens, and kites were all gathered together, and the sheep of the fields came as well, uniting with the beasts and birds in their efforts to break the ram's horn. But I saw the man who had written the book open it, presenting the record of the 12 last shepherds. They had wrought greater destruction than any before them. The Lord of the sheep saw this and was filled with fury. The Lord took his staff of wrath in hand, and with a mighty blow he struck the earth. The ground split open, and all the beasts and birds of the heavens that had tormented the sheep were swallowed by the earth, which closed upon them, sealing their doom. Then I saw that a great sword was given to the sheep. With this weapon they rose against the beasts of the field, slaying them in vengeance. The beasts and birds fled from the sheep, but none could escape their wrath. In the land of peace, a great throne was erected, and the Lord of the sheep seated himself upon it. The man who had written the book brought out the sealed records and opened them before the Lord. The Lord called forth 7 men, clothed in white, and commanded them to bring before him the stars, whose hidden sins were like the impurities of horses. These stars were brought before him, trembling in judgment. Then the Lord turned to the man who had been recording all the events and said, "Take those 70 shepherds, those to whom I entrusted the sheep, and who, acting out of their own will, slaughtered far more than I commanded. And behold, I saw that they were all bound, and they stood before the Lord, trembling in their guilt. Judgment was passed first upon the stars. They were found guilty, condemned, and cast into a blazing abyss filled with unrelenting flames, burning pillars of fire. The 70 shepherds faced their judgment next, and they too were found guilty. They were hurled into the same fiery abyss, their fate sealed. As I continued to watch, the earth opened yet again, revealing another abyss of fire in its depths. The blinded sheep were brought before it, and they too were judged. All were found guilty, and one by one they were cast into the flames, where they burned until nothing remained but ashes. This abyss lay to the right of the house of the sheep. I watched in horror as the sheep burned, their very bones consumed by the fire. And then I saw the house of old, the house that had sheltered the sheep, being folded up. Its pillars, beams, and ornaments were all taken down and carried away, placed in a distant land to the south. But then a new house appeared, greater and more magnificent than the first. It was set up in the place of the old, its pillars stronger, its decorations grander. All the sheep that remained were gathered into this new house. As I looked upon the scene, I saw all the beasts of the earth and birds of the sky bowing in submission to the sheep. They made supplications and obeyed the sheep in all things. The Lord of the sheep rejoiced greatly, for all the sheep had returned to his house. In that moment, the 3 men clothed in white, who had once taken me by the hand, appeared again. They, along with the ram, lifted me up and placed me in the midst of the sheep, just before judgment was to commence. The sheep were now clothed in pure white wool, abundant and clean. All those who had been destroyed or scattered were gathered in the new house, and the Lord rejoiced with overwhelming joy at their return, for they were now good and faithful. I watched as the sword, once given to the sheep, was taken back into the house, and it was sealed before the presence of the Lord. All the sheep were invited into the house, though it could not contain them all, for they were so numerous. Suddenly, all their eyes were opened, and they beheld the goodness that surrounded them. Not one among them was blind, for all could see clearly. I saw that the house was vast and spacious, filled to the brim with the sheep. Then from among them, a white bull was born with large horns. All the beasts of the field and birds of the sky feared him and sought his favor, making petitions to him without ceasing. I watched as the generations of the sheep were transformed, one after the other, until they all became white bulls. Among them, the first one became a lamb, but this lamb grew into a mighty beast with great black horns upon its head. The Lord of the sheep rejoiced over this lamb and all the oxen. In the midst of them, I fell into a deep sleep, and when I awoke, I had seen everything. This is the vision that came to me in my sleep. When I awoke, I blessed the Lord of righteousness and glorified his name. But I could not stop weeping. Tears flowed without end as the weight of all I had seen overwhelmed me. I wept because I knew that everything would come to pass, and all the deeds of men, each in their time, had been revealed to me. That night, I remembered my first dream, and the vision filled me with sorrow and unrest. I wept for what I had witnessed, for the fate of all was laid bare before me. "My son Methuselah," Enoch called out with a voice heavy with the weight of destiny, "gather all your brothers to me. Summon the sons of your mother, for the word of the Lord calls me, and the Spirit has been poured out upon me. I must reveal to you everything that will come to pass. things that will shape eternity itself. And so Methuselah went and summoned all his brothers, assembling the entire family. They came before Enoch, the children of righteousness, their eyes filled with anticipation, awaiting his words. Enoch stood before them and spoke, his voice trembling with the gravity of what was to be said. "Hear me, my sons. Listen to the words of your father Enoch. Pay heed to the voice that speaks to you now, for I exhort you with all my heart. Love righteousness and walk in its ways. Do not approach righteousness with a heart divided, and do not align yourselves with those whose hearts are deceitful. Let righteousness be your guide. Let it lead you upon paths of goodness, for righteousness will be your faithful companion in a world darkened by sin." He looked into their faces, his voice growing sorrowful as he spoke of what he knew was to come. "I have seen that violence will increase upon the earth. Great calamities will unfold, and all the wickedness of men will reach its peak. It will be uprooted, destroyed entirely. Yet once again, unrighteousness will rise, and sin, along with violence, will dominate the earth, doubling in its intensity. When sin and blasphemy spread like a plague, and violence in every form abounds, apostasy will grow unchecked. In those days, my sons, a great punishment will come from the heavens. The Holy Lord will rise in his wrath and descend to bring judgment upon the earth." The weight of the coming judgment pressed heavily upon him as he continued, "In that time all violence will be severed at its roots. The deceit and unrighteousness that have taken hold of the earth will be destroyed beneath the heavens. The idols of the nations will be abandoned, their temples burned to the ground, and they will be cast into the fiery judgment. They will perish under the fierce anger of the Lord, forever condemned." But then, raising his voice with hope, he spoke of the future beyond the devastation. "And the righteous will arise from their slumber, their eyes filled with wisdom, and they will be granted understanding. After that, the roots of wickedness will be cut off, and the sinners will perish by the sword, every last one of them, from the blasphemers to the violent. They will meet their end." Enoch paused for a moment, letting the silence fill the air before continuing. "And in that time, a new week will begin, the 8th week of righteousness. A sword will be given to execute justice on the oppressors, and the sinners will be handed over to the righteous. Through their righteousness, they will acquire homes, and a house of eternal glory will be built for the great King, a house that will stand forever. Then, in the 9th week, the righteous judgment will be revealed to the whole world, and all the works of the godless will disappear from the earth. The world will be written for destruction." His voice grew heavy as he spoke of the final judgment. "After this, during the 10th week, in the 7th part, there will be the great eternal judgment. God will exact vengeance upon the fallen angels. The first heaven will pass away, and a new heaven will appear, brighter than before. The heavens will shine with a 7-fold light, and after this, there will be countless weeks, stretching into eternity. In those days, all will be goodness and righteousness, and sin will be no more, never to be spoken of again." Looking upon them with deep compassion, Enoch said, "Now I tell you, my sons, I will show you the paths of righteousness and the paths of violence. These I will reveal again, so you may know what is to come. Listen to me, my sons. Walk in the ways of righteousness. Do not follow the path of violence, for all who choose the way of wickedness will perish forever." Then, the book written by Enoch, the complete doctrine of wisdom, praised by all and a guide for the earth, was presented. It was written for all his children who would dwell upon the earth and for the generations yet to come, those who would seek righteousness and peace. Enoch reassured them, "Do not let your spirit be troubled by the times ahead, for the Holy and Great One has set appointed days for all things. The righteous will rise from their sleep, and walk in the paths of righteousness. Their lives will be marked by eternal goodness and grace. The Lord will be gracious to the righteous, granting them eternal uprightness, and he will give them power so that they will be filled with goodness and righteousness, walking forever in his light. Sin will perish in the darkness, never to be seen again. And so, Enoch began recounting the things revealed to him from the heavenly tablets. Concerning the children of righteousness, the chosen of the earth, and the plant of righteousness, I speak to you now. These truths I declare, having seen them in the vision from the heavens and learned them from the holy angels. I was born in the 7th of the 1st week, a time when judgment and righteousness still held sway. After me, in the 2nd week, great wickedness will arise, and deceit will flourish. It will be a time of endings, and though a man will be saved, unrighteousness will take root again, and laws will be made for the sinners. He continued to recount what was shown to him. In the 3rd week, at its close, a man will be chosen, and his descendants will become the plant of righteousness forever. In the 4th week, visions of holiness and righteousness will be granted, and a law will be established for all generations. In the 5th week, the house of glory and dominion will be built to stand forever. But in the 6th week, blindness will afflict all who dwell upon the earth, and their hearts will turn from wisdom. A man will ascend to heaven, and by the end of this week, the house of dominion will be consumed by fire, and the chosen race will be scattered across the earth. He spoke of the 7th week, filled with apostasy and wickedness. At its end, the elect of righteousness will be chosen to receive divine instruction, sevenfold wisdom concerning all of creation. And with great emotion, Enoch cried out, "Who among men can hear the voice of the Holy One without trembling? Who can think his thoughts or behold the vast works of the heavens? Who among mankind can know the breadth and length of the earth, or the measure of the stars? Who could understand the secrets of the heavens?" These mysteries were beyond human grasp, yet they had been shown to him, and now he passed them on to his children. And in that final judgment, he concluded, all will be laid bare, and righteousness will prevail forever. Enoch, with a voice full of urgency and a heart heavy with the knowledge of what was to come, addressed his sons. "My sons, I say to you now, love righteousness and walk in its ways, for the paths of righteousness are worthy of your trust. The ways of the unrighteous, however, will suddenly be destroyed. They will vanish as quickly as they appeared. To some men in a future generation, the paths of violence and death will be revealed, but the wise among them will keep far from such paths. They will not follow the road of destruction. But to you, my righteous children, I say this: do not walk in the ways of wickedness, nor tread upon the paths that lead to death. Keep your distance from them, for if you come near, you will surely be destroyed. Instead, seek righteousness, choose a life that is set apart, and walk in the ways of peace. In doing so, you will live, and your days will be prosperous. Hold fast to my words, keep them close in your hearts, and do not allow them to fade from your memory. I know that sinners will try to lead men astray, urging them to forsake wisdom, hoping to leave no room for her in their hearts. But do not give in to these temptations. Woe to those who build their lives upon unrighteousness and oppression, laying foundations of deceit. They will be suddenly overthrown, and peace will forever elude them. Woe to those who build their homes on sin. Their very foundations will be uprooted, and they will fall by the sword. And those who amass gold and silver unjustly will perish without warning. Woe to you, the rich! You have placed your trust in your wealth, but soon your riches will be stripped from you. You have forgotten the Most High in the days of your abundance. You have blasphemed and lived in unrighteousness. and now you are prepared for the day of slaughter, the day of darkness and the great judgment. I declare to you, the one who created you will bring you down. In the day of your fall, there will be no mercy, and the Creator will find no compassion in your destruction. In those days, your righteous ones will stand as a reproach to you, sinners and godless alike. Enoch's heart grew heavy as he continued, "Oh, that my eyes could become a cloud of waters, so that I might weep for you, pouring down my tears as torrents from the heavens. Then perhaps I could find some rest from this anguish that burdens my soul. But who allowed you to practice such wickedness and heap reproaches upon yourselves? Judgment will soon overtake you, sinners. To you, my righteous children, I say this: do not fear the sinners, for the Lord will once again deliver them into your hands. You will execute judgment upon them according to your desires. Woe to those of you who pronounce curses that cannot be revoked. Your sins will distance you from healing, and no remedy will be found for you. Woe to those who repay their neighbors with evil, for you will be repaid in kind according to your wicked deeds. Woe to you, false witnesses, and those who deal in injustice. Your end will come swiftly, and you will perish without warning. Woe to you, sinners, who persecute the righteous. You will be handed over to judgment for your injustices, and the weight of your guilt will be unbearable." But as Enoch's voice rose once more, he turned to his faithful ones with words of hope. "Be hopeful, you who walk in righteousness, for soon the sinners will perish before you, and you will rule over them, fulfilling the desires of your heart. In the day when the wicked are brought low, your children will rise like eagles, soaring higher than vultures. You will find refuge in the crevices of the earth, in the clefts of the rock, and remain there forever, safe from the wicked. The world will groan and mourn because of you, but fear not. Healing will be your portion, and a radiant light will shine upon you. You will hear the voice of rest calling down from heaven, giving you peace. Woe unto you, sinners! Your riches may make you appear righteous, but your hearts betray you. Your wealth will stand as a witness against you, testifying to your evil deeds. Woe to you who consume the best of the land's harvest, who drink wine in excess, and who trample the lowly underfoot. Your judgment is near, and soon you will be consumed and wither away, because you have forsaken the fountain of life. Woe to you who work unrighteousness, deceit, and blasphemy. These will be remembered against you as a testimony of your evil. Woe to you, mighty ones who oppress the righteous with your strength. The day of your destruction is drawing near. Yet for the righteous, in those days, many good days will come, for their judgment will bring forth life and peace. The words of Enoch rang out, full of passion and sorrow, as he delivered his warnings to the sinners and the righteous alike. Believe me, you who walk in righteousness, for the day will come when the sinners will be filled with shame and perish in the time of their unrighteousness. Know this, you sinners: the Most High remembers your destruction, and the angels in heaven rejoice over your downfall. What will you do on that day of judgment? Where will you run when you hear the cries of the righteous rising in prayer? You shall share in the fate of those against whom these words stand as a testimony. You have walked in the company of sinners. In those days, the prayers of the righteous will reach the ears of the Lord, and the day of your judgment will come swiftly. Every act of your unrighteousness will be read aloud before the great Holy One. Your faces will burn with shame, and he will reject every deed that was built upon wickedness. Woe to you, sinners, wherever you may dwell, on the oceans or on the land, for even the memory of you will be a curse. Woe to you who gather silver and gold through injustice and declare, "We are rich." We possess everything we desired. Let us now fulfill our plans, for we have gathered great wealth, and our homes are filled with laborers. Our storehouses are overflowing like waters. But just as quickly as water flows, so shall your lies wash away. Your riches will not remain. They will swiftly depart from you, for you have gained them through unrighteousness, and a great curse will fall upon you. Enoch continued with sorrow and fire in his voice. I swear to both the wise and the foolish, many will experience the wonders and trials of life on this earth. But there will come a time when men will adorn themselves more extravagantly than women, wearing garments brighter than a virgin's, draped in gold, silver, and purple, displaying power, grandeur, and wealth. They will revel in their splendor as if it were endless, yet it will all pour away like water. In their lack of wisdom and understanding, they will perish alongside their possessions. With all their glory and wealth, they will be thrown into shame, slaughter, and utter destitution. Their spirits will be cast into the furnace of fire. I have sworn to you, sinners, just as a mountain does not serve as a slave, nor a hill as a handmaid to a woman. Sin was not sent upon the earth, but man created it himself. Those who commit it shall fall under a great curse. Women were not created to be barren, but because of the works of their own hands, they die without children. I swear to you by the Holy Great One, all your evil deeds are revealed in the heavens. None of your oppressive actions are hidden. Do not deceive yourselves, thinking in your hearts that you know nothing that you do not see. Every sin is recorded daily in the presence of the Most High. From now on, you know that every act of oppression you commit is written down until the day of your judgment. Woe to you, fools, for through your foolishness you will perish. You sin against the wise, and no good fortune will be your portion. Be aware, you are destined for the day of destruction. Do not expect to live, sinners, for you know no ransom. You are prepared for the day of great judgment, the day of tribulation, and overwhelming shame for your spirits. Woe to you who are hardened in heart, who commit wickedness and consume blood. Where do you find good things to eat and drink and to be filled? It is from the abundance that the Lord, the Most High, has placed on the earth. Yet you will have no peace. Woe to you who love unrighteous deeds. Why do you hope for good things? Know that you will be delivered into the hands of the righteous, and they will cut off your heads without mercy. Woe to you who rejoice in the suffering of the righteous, for no grave will be dug for you. Woe to you who disregard the words of the righteous, for there will be no hope of life for you. Woe to you who write down lies and godless words, spreading your deceit so that others may act wickedly toward their neighbors. You will find no peace, and a sudden death will come upon you. As Enoch's words grew more intense, he continued to condemn those who revel in evil. Woe to you who work in godlessness and take pride in lies. You will perish, and no happiness shall be yours. Woe to those who twist the words of righteousness and break the eternal law, transforming themselves into sinners. They will be trampled underfoot on the earth. In those days, you who walk in righteousness, prepare your prayers to be a testimony before the angels, so that they may present the sins of the wicked before the Most High. In those days, nations will rise up, and families will be torn apart on the day of destruction. The poor will abandon their children, even their nursing infants, allowing them to die. They will show no pity for their beloved ones. And again, I swear to you, sinners, that sin has prepared itself for a day of endless bloodshed. Those who worship stones, carved images of gold, silver, wood, and clay, those who bow to impure spirits and demons, will find no help from them. They have become godless because of the foolishness of their hearts. Their eyes are blinded by fear, and their minds are consumed by dreams and false visions. Because of their lies and their worship of mere stones, they will perish in an instant. But blessed are those who accept the words of wisdom and follow them, who walk in the paths of the Most High and keep to his righteousness. They will not become godless with the wicked, and they will be saved. Woe to you who spread evil to your neighbors, for you will be slain in Sheol. Woe to you who use false measures and bring bitterness to the earth, for you will be utterly consumed. Woe to you who build your houses with the toil of others, with bricks and stones of sin. I tell you, you will find no peace. Woe to those who reject the eternal inheritance of their
fathers and follow after idols, for they will have no rest. Woe to those who commit injustice, support oppression, and murder their neighbors. You will face the great day of judgment.
The Lord will cast down your glory, fill your hearts with sorrow, and stir up his fierce anger against you. He will destroy you with the sword, and the righteous will remember your sins forever. In those dark days, fathers and sons will fall together, smitten by violence, as brothers will turn against each other, and death will claim them until rivers flow red with their blood. No man will withhold his hand, not even to spare his own son or his son's son. The sinner will not hesitate to slay even his most honored brother. From the first light of dawn until the setting sun, the slaughter will be unceasing, and the blood of sinners will rise so high that horses will wade chest deep in it, while chariots are submerged in the crimson flood. In that time the angels will descend into hidden places, gathering those who have led humanity into sin. And on that day, the Most High will rise to execute his great judgment upon the sinners. Over all the righteous and the holy, he will appoint guardians from among his angels to protect them like the apple of his eye, keeping them safe until all wickedness is wiped away. Though the righteous may sleep long in their graves, they need not fear, for their rest is secure. The children of the earth will witness this. They will see the wise dwell in safety and will finally understand the words of this prophecy. In that day, they will realize that their wealth cannot save them from the consequences of their sins. Woe to you, sinners, Enoch proclaimed. On the day of unbearable anguish, you who torment the righteous and burn them with fire will be repaid for your deeds. Woe to you, hardened of heart, who stay awake plotting wickedness. Fear will descend upon you, and none shall be there to rescue you. Woe to you, for the words of your mouth and the works of your hands, born from your godlessness, have earned you a fate worse than the fire itself. You will burn in blazing flames, hotter and more terrible than any earthly fire. And know this, the Most High will inquire of the angels concerning your deeds. He will question the sun, the moon, and the stars about your sins, for you have passed unjust judgments upon the righteous here on earth. Even the clouds, the mist, the dew, and the rain will testify against you. Because of your evil, these will be withheld, and the heavens will remember your wickedness. Go ahead, offer gifts of gold and silver to the rain, hoping it will fall again, or to the dew, so that it will descend upon you. But it will be to no avail. When the frost and snow with their biting cold and the raging storms with all their plagues come upon you, you will not be able to stand against them. Enoch then turned to speak to the children of heaven, the faithful. Look to the heavens, all of you who are children of the Most High. Behold the works of the Almighty, and let reverence fill your hearts. Do no evil in his presence. If he shuts the windows of heaven, withholding the rain and dew from the earth because of your sins, what will you do then? And if his anger burns against you because of your wickedness, what hope will you have? You cannot plead with him, for you have spoken proud, insolent words against his righteousness, and therefore you will know no peace. Do you not see the sailors upon the seas, how their ships are tossed to and fro by waves, how they tremble in fear as the winds rage around them? They are afraid because their treasures sail with them, and they dread that the sea will swallow them whole. Yet sinners, you who walk upon the earth, do not fear the Most High, though all the seas Their waters and their movements are his handiwork, bound by his command. He speaks, and the waters dry up, and all that live within them perish. And yet you fear him not. Has he not created the heavens and the earth, and all that is within them? Has he not given wisdom and understanding to every creature that moves upon the earth and within the sea? Even the sailors tremble before the power of the sea. Yet you sinners do not tremble before the Almighty. Enoch's voice grew darker as he foretold the day of reckoning for the wicked. In the days when he brings a terrible fire upon you, where will you run? Where will you find deliverance? When he sends forth his word against you, will you not tremble in fear? Even the lights of the heavens will tremble in great terror, and the earth will quake with alarm. The angels will move to carry out their commands, and in their fear, they will seek to hide themselves from the presence of the great glory. The children of the earth will tremble, and you, sinners, will be cursed forever. You will know no peace. But do not fear, righteous souls. Be full of hope, you who have died in righteousness. Do not grieve because your soul has descended into Sheol in sorrow, or because your body did not prosper in life according to your goodness. Be patient and wait for the day of judgment upon the sinners, for the day of curses and retribution. For when you die, the sinners mock you, saying, "As we die, so die the righteous." What gain do they have from their deeds? Look, they die just as we do, in grief and darkness. What more do they have than we? From now on, we are all the same. What will they receive? What will they see forevermore? They too have died, and from this point forward, they will never see the light. But I tell you, sinners, while you feast and drink, robbing and sinning, stripping men of their dignity and wealth, living in comfort and seeing good days, you do not see the truth of the righteous. Their end is peaceful, and no violence touches them until death. And though you say, "They perished as though they had never existed, and their spirits descended into Sheol in sorrow," you deceive yourselves, for their rest is in righteousness, and their reward will be revealed in the judgment to come. Now, I swear to you, O righteous ones, by the glory of the great and honored, the mighty one who reigns in supreme dominion, by his immeasurable greatness, I swear to you this truth. I know a profound mystery, a secret hidden in the heavens. I have read from the sacred tablets of the divine, and I have seen the holy books where it is written. It is recorded that all goodness, joy, and glory have been prepared for those who have died in righteousness. I have seen that these treasures are written down for their spirits, and abundant blessings are set aside for you, far greater than what the living could ever know. For your spirits, you who have departed in righteousness, shall live on and rejoice. Your spirits shall not perish, nor will your memory ever fade from before the face of the Great One. You will be remembered through all the generations of the world, so do not fear the scorn of the wicked any longer. But to the sinners I say, woe unto you when you die, especially if you die steeped in the wealth of your sins. For those like you will say, look at these sinners, blessed indeed, for they have seen all their days in prosperity. They have died rich and honored, untouched by tribulation or violence. No judgment fell upon them while they lived. But hear this truth. Their souls will descend into Sheol, and there they will be miserable in their great suffering. Into darkness they will be cast, bound in chains, and their spirits will be engulfed by a burning flame where grievous judgment awaits them. Woe unto you, sinners, for you shall have no peace, now or ever. And do not speak, O righteous ones, in despair, saying, in our troubled days we have labored through endless toil. We have faced every form of evil, been consumed by affliction, and have become few, with our spirits broken. We have been crushed and found no one to help us, not even a word of comfort. We have been tortured and destroyed, losing hope of ever seeing life from one day to the next. We wished to be the head, but instead, we became the tail. Our labor has been in vain, yielding no satisfaction. We have been like food for sinners and the unrighteous, who placed heavy burdens upon us. Those who hated us ruled over us and struck us down. We bowed our necks to them, but they showed no mercy. We longed to escape from their grasp, to find rest, but there was no refuge for us, no place to hide. We cried out in our tribulation to those in power, begging for justice against those who devoured us. But our cries fell on deaf ears. They did not listen to our voices. Instead, they helped those who plundered and destroyed us. They concealed their oppression, never lifting the yoke of those who scattered and murdered us, forgetting the evil they had done and the bloodshed they had caused. Yet I swear to you, O righteous ones, the angels in heaven remember you for good before the glory of the Great One. Your names are written before His majesty. Therefore take heart and find hope, for though you were once shamed by affliction, now you shall shine like the lights of heaven. You will shine, and you will be seen by all, for the very gates of heaven will be opened to you. When you cry out for justice, your cry will be heard, and judgment will come. All your tribulation will be brought upon the heads of the rulers and upon all who aided those who plundered you. Do not cast away your hope, for great joy awaits you, as glorious as the joy of the angels in heaven. You shall not need to hide on the day of great judgment. You will not be counted among sinners, and eternal judgment will be far from you for all the generations of the world. Fear not when you see sinners growing strong, when they prosper in their ways. Do not join them, but stay far from their violence, for in the end you shall be companions with the hosts of heaven. And though sinners say, "Our sins will never be uncovered or written down," I tell you the truth. Every day, all your sins are being recorded. Light and darkness, day and night, they see your deeds, and nothing is hidden from them. Do not let godlessness rule your hearts, and do not lie. Do not twist the words of righteousness, nor accuse the words of the Holy One of deceit. Turn away from your idols, for all your lies and wickedness lead only to great sin. I understand another mystery. Sinners will try to twist the words of righteousness. They will pervert the truth in many ways, speaking wicked words, telling lies, and practicing deceit. They will write books full of falsehoods to justify their ways. But know this: when my words are written down truthfully in their languages, without changing or diminishing anything I have spoken, then righteousness shall flourish. The books will be given to the righteous and the wise, and these books will bring joy, uprightness, and wisdom to all who receive them. In those days, the righteous, who have learned the ways of justice and truth from these writings, will be rewarded. And in that time, the Lord Himself will summon the righteous to testify before the children of the earth. He will instruct them, for they are the guides of humanity and will receive their reward over the whole earth. For I and my Son will be united with them forever, walking with them on the path of righteousness throughout their lives, and peace will be with you. Rejoice, O children of righteousness, for your time of glory is at hand. Amen. To you who have done good, Enoch proclaimed, wait for those days when the wicked shall meet their end and the power of the transgressors will be broken. Hold on until sin is no more, for the names of the wicked shall be blotted out from the book of life, erased from the holy books. Their descendants will be destroyed forever, their spirits slain, and they will cry out in agony, wailing in a desolate wasteland, burning in fire, for there is no earth there to give them rest. Then Enoch beheld a vision. Before him appeared something like an invisible cloud, so vast in depth that his eyes could not fathom its bounds. In its midst, a fierce flame blazed brightly, surrounded by glowing mountains, swirling and sweeping around in constant motion. Bewildered by the sight, he turned to one of the holy angels beside him and asked, "What is this radiant thing? for it is neither heaven nor earth, but a flame of blazing fire filled with the sounds of weeping, crying, and the anguish of deep pain. And the angel replied, "This is the place where the spirits of sinners, blasphemers, and those who commit wickedness are cast. Here are also those who have twisted the words the Lord spoke through the prophets concerning things to come. For many of these deeds are written and inscribed in the heavens, so that the angels may know the fate of the sinners and of those who have endured suffering. Among them are the spirits of the humble, those who afflicted their bodies and were recompensed by God, those who were shamed by the wicked, but who loved God. They did not crave gold, silver, or the pleasures of this world, but surrendered their bodies to torment. Since they came into being, these righteous souls did not long for earthly sustenance. They saw everything in the world as fleeting and lived accordingly. The Lord tested them greatly, and their spirits were found pure, so they blessed his holy name. All the blessings destined for them have been recorded in the sacred books. Their reward is given because they loved heaven more than life on earth, even though they were trampled underfoot by the wicked, abused, and humiliated. Still, they blessed me." Then the Lord spoke, saying, "I will summon the spirits of the righteous, those who belong to the generation of light. I will transform those born in darkness, who were not honored in the flesh, as their faithfulness deserved. I will bring them forth into radiant light, those who have loved my holy name, and I will seat each one upon their throne of honor. They shall shine with a brilliance that knows no end, for righteousness is the judgment of God. To the faithful he will give faithfulness, and they shall dwell in the paths of uprightness. The righteous will gaze upon those born in darkness as they are led into the shadows. Meanwhile the righteous shall glow with resplendence, and the sinners shall cry out in bitter torment, seeing the glorious light of the righteous. But they shall be taken to a place where their days and seasons of judgment are already set." If you like this video and want to see more movies like this one, please hit the like button and share it. What movie should we create next? We'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again.